Good evening, Ravnica, and welcome to The Broken Pact, the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica show on twitch.tv/D&D and twitch.tv/savingthrow show. And this week, we're on twitch.tv/magic as well. Yeah. Just all over the place. This is, of course, the Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons crossover show combining the worlds of Ravnica with the wonderful play of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. I'm your Dungeon Master, or maybe more realistically, your Guildmaster, Reuben Bresler, and these fine citizens are my players. Feel free to introduce yourselves.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jordan Pridgen, and I bet you can guess what race I'm playing in this.
Elf.
Gnome.
Yes, I am a gnome.
Oh, yeah.
That was the correct answer in this whole thing. I'm a regular player here on Saving Throw, so
great.
That's
so you're going to be our...
But who are you?
I am going to play Astaroth, the Minotaur fighter, who is part of the Boros Guild.
Yeah, the Boros Legion representing.
That's right. I have a signet here and a signet here. So,
in case they
Boros.
couldn't see them.
Right.
Oh yeah, I am way Boros.
Yeah.
On brand.
Yes.
It's a good thing, I like the subtlety of it. I like that, like, you don't want to, like, scream it. You just want to, like, whisper.
Yeah.
Right, and when I had one, it was like, well, someone could miss that. So throw out another and just
in case.
If Minotaurs are anything, it's subtle.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
certainly.
Yeah, I like a casual, chill Minotaur. I am Riley Silverman. This is actually my first Saving Throw show. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, and I'm excited to be on the D&D channel as well. I am playing Velma Sweet. She is a half-elf bard, and she's affiliated with the Orzhov Guild.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So subtlety, actually your thing.
No, she's super over the top.
Oh,
Yeah. That's, yeah. As you can see by how
seems
flashy
that
she
way.
is.
Yeah.
I go for spectacle.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, my name's Gaurav Gulati, and I'm playing Lucian Ladrian of the Azorius Guild. He's a human, and he's an investigator and a law mage. I believe that's all I have to say about him. He's very to the point, very cordial, very... I guess he's a bit strict too, but...
He's professional.
Professional.
he's
Sure.
Azorius.
He's very Azorius.
They're by the book. That's how
Right.
they do it.
Exactly, yes, by the book.
They made the book.
Yeah, they
We
did make the book.
literally
True.
did make the book.
Awesome. I'm Ashlen Rose, and I am playing a Luxodon cleric named Tuturu. She's pretty easygoing, loves life, puts a lot of trust in people, and is just really eager to go out in the world and help. So
Great. As we do our intro stuff, I wanted to start out by saying I typically get my favorite role players to sign a non-branded jumbling block for me for my collection, and y'all are my cast. So while I'm doing the intro, if you don't mind, I would really like it if you guys would sign my block, my role-playing
The
block,
same block?
here.
Oh,
the same one.
I already signed one.
You did sign one for me already.
I'm very popular.
Jeez. My favorite doctor. I mean, how could you not? So if you want to follow the show, be sure to follow @SavingThrowShow on Twitter, where you'll get updates on all of the stuff here at Saving Throw Show Network, including Wildcards and Tempting Fate and all of the other excellent shows that are here on the network. You can also use the hashtag #TheBrokenPactRPG. #TheBrokenPactRPG. You should absolutely also join our Discord. We have a Discord for all the Saving Throw shows and a sub-channel? Sub-Discord? What do you think?
Just a Discord. I don't think we have a sub-exclusive channel.
No, not for subs. I mean
mean
like
like
an underneath.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. There's a channel where you can come and talk about the Broken Pact and all that cool stuff. So please do join us there as well. Join us after this show, not on D&D or Magic, but on Saving Throw Show Network. We are doing an episode of Talk Pact, which is going to be our official after show. A big thing about the Broken Pact is that we want to bring new people from Magic to D&D and D&D to Magic, and an after meeting, sort of just like talking about what we thought about the show. We'll also be answering questions from chat, doing a lot of beginner help, I'm sure. DM questions, player questions, all that kind of stuff. So I think that most or all of us will be here today for that one, and we're doing that after most of the shows as well. So that starts at 4, goes on for about an hour, 4 Pacific, if those of you who are in Hawaii or on the East Coast. I don't know why I started with Hawaii, but hey.
It's definitely an option.
I mean, I would start with Hawaii if I could.
Yeah, right?
Fair.
We're starting at 10 a.m. Hawaiian, so.
Yes.
We do have a giveaway this week. Waterdeep Dragon Heist is available in the chat. Use !raffle. Thank you to all the mods for all the hard work you do. You people are truly the lawful good people of the RPG community. Thank you for all your hard work. They will be helping one of you to randomly win a copy of this fine piece of literature, which I still need to read through, but I've been busy, so I haven't read all the way
your
through.
own dragon.
That's right.
Yeah.
How to
Well,
heist your dragon.
lots of dragons. Yeah, because it's the currency. I was super confused by that as well. It's like, why are we stealing a dragon?
Why are we heisting dragons?
I'm pretty sure that's kidnapping. I think that's called kidnapping.
Dragon napping.
Dragon napping. Yeah, I have a couple of other small people I want to thank before we get started in earnest. I want to thank Emmett Fury and A.E. Marling, who have been instrumental in helping me craft the story that you will be hearing today and in the future. A.E. Marling is a Magic the Gathering lore master. Emmett Fury is a longtime RPG writer and creator, and without them, I would be totally lost without them. So. And we do have a theme song done by Zach Heidi that you are going to be seeing very, very soon. He hosts a weekly ambient late night performance stream on Twitch where he does live composing. So you can see that at twitch.tv/ZACHHEYDE. So go check that out, especially if you like this theme song that you're about to listen to.
You're going to like it.
Yeah, you're really going to like it. And speaking of that, how about we set the scene, play some Dungeons and Dragons in the world of Ravnica, of Magic the Gathering. Get ready, everyone, for the excitement and the intrigue of Ravnica, the Broken Pact. Episode 1, Enemy of the Guild Pact. Cold rain falls on the streets. The leaves turn and change and fall. Change is inevitable. Change is inescapable. Ravnica, the city of guilds, an ecumenopolis, a planet-wide city, sprawls across this entire plane. Wilderness has been pruned into vibrant courtyard gardens and parks, and stone spires have risen in every direction to scrape the sky. Mist flows between the spires. The fogs have come early this year, and thick enough to drown out the normal city clamor. But there's something else. You strain to hear it in the uncanny quiet, and you find yourself often listening, but for what, you're not exactly sure. But the faster the rain falls, the faster your heart races. What you do hear, chattered by those you trust in crowded markets, muttered over in smoky taverns, and whispered in the shadows, change is coming. The enchantment that bound the 10 guilds in forced peace for more than 10 millennium, the Guild Pact, is no more the fail-safe plan, the living Guild Pact, Ravnica's new hope for peaceful rule, is missing. And now the tenuous peace that holds the guilds in check hangs by a thread. What you hear amidst the hiss of the rain frightens you. First tasked with enforcing Ravnica's laws, the Boros Legion now ignores them to bring angelic justice to the streets. The guilds are growing violent. First tasked with remaining hidden in black markets, House Demir now openly claims that they are but simple couriers and librarians, and the fact of their true nature remains unknown to most. The guilds are keeping secrets. First tasked with growing city charities and gardens, the Celestia Conclave now converts as many people as join in the euphoria of its song. The guilds are building armies. First tasked with public works and powering Ravnica, the Izzet League now hoards power for mysterious projects. The guilds are ratcheting up tension. First tasked with clearing filth and farming, the Golgari Swarm has grown a new underrealm and sealed itself in those depths. The guilds are becoming paranoid. The other 5 guilds, the Azorius Senate, the Gruul clans, the Orzhov Syndicate, the Simic Combine, and the Cult of Rakdos, are doing nothing to de-escalate. The other 5 guilds now hold allegiance to no one but themselves. The guilds are bracing for war. Change is inevitable. Change is inescapable. What you hear frightens you, and the more you try to hear it, the louder the rains sound. The thunder of the summer season has long passed, and replaced instead by the patter of heavy drops of autumn storms. Each droplet lands in a tiny explosion in the chilly autumn air on cobblestone and shingle and glass. Its chill surprises you. The wetness worms under your clothing. You can't escape it. Even inside by the fire, you find yourself often shivering, teeth on edge, listening, ever listening. For what? You're not exactly sure, and you're afraid, to some extent, to find out. Welcome to the Broken Pact. We begin our story in the 10th district, the hub of this great city and the entire plain. Precincts 1 through 6 are right here. Most of the 10 guild halls, as well as the office of the Guild Pact, are located here in the 10th. One of them is located in Precinct 3, the Celestia Guild Hall, and cultural center point known as Vitu-Ghazi, the City Tree, which is where our story begins, early in the morning, with a young Loxodon who goes by the name of Tuturu.
I forgot to mention I'm part of Celestia. Spoiler alert.
Oh.
I completely forgot.
Right. Oh, you will... quick pause. We are using a couple of things from the new book, obviously, which comes out November 9th in friendly local game stores, and available everywhere November 20th. Support your local FLGS. And we're using a couple of things from the book, a number of things from the book, not the least of which is a Loxodon in the party, as well as a Minotaur in the party, two of the races that are available to you in that book. And as it comes up, we'll talk about other features that you will get in this setting.
Like guilds.
Like guilds.
Like
we'll get there.
D&D players like myself who didn't know about guilds.
Exactly.
Until they got this book.
Yeah. We'll get there. It's morning. You are in your room. So the Celestia Guild are organized in small communities, often called Vernati. Vernati are built around a large tree, maybe ancient trees, hundreds, maybe thousands of years old, 20, 30, 40 feet across. Vitu-Ghazi itself is much, much larger than that, hundreds of feet in diameter. You live in a Vernati, I believe sort of on the edge of the Beastlands.
Right.
Sort of in the middle of Precinct 3. The Beastlands dominate a lot of the area. as that is the place where many of the plow beasts and pack animals and the shepherds and the rolling fields are. On the edge of that, obviously, then there are the massive trees and your Vernati, located somewhat near the edge. It's early in the morning. You wake up in your sort of treetop abode. You have your own quarters amongst the Vernati, small community led by a dryad, a Voda. Your dryad Voda is, of course, Mookie, your father figure, mentor, someone you've known for all of your life, as far as you can recall. And they are the center of this community, keeping the tree and that small community of maybe fewer than 100, certainly, much fewer than 100, maybe 50 life forms of various kinds, sentient life forms. Obviously, there are also the beasts and the saprolings that live amongst your day-to-day existence as well. What does your morning look like when you wake up? You sleep in a bed, I would assume.
Yes.
High in the trees, not super high.
Probably not. I can picture Alexa and I now like climbing up to my like little branch.
So the way that the Vernati is organized is that there is this massive tree, and then there's sort of a spiral ramp, a wide, maybe 10, 15-foot spiral ramp that climbs the entirety of the Vernati, and at various levels. There are essentially tree houses, sort of 15 by 15, 20 by 20 foot rooms where each individual or each family live and spend their time while in.
Honestly, I'm liking the Loxodon climbing trees imagery
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, big.
I was
elephant
imagining
person.
an elaborate like winch and pulley system where like they have like an elevator built, like someone's job is just to put you in and out of the tree every time you come home.
Yeah.
Specifically my bed.
We've all seen Operation Dumbo Drop. We know. That's
wow, that's like a slur. Dumbo? You're gonna take that from him?
at this point I can only apologize.
It's okay. Selesnya are very forgiving.
Yeah. All right. So it's morning time. You're in your quarters. What does a morning look like for Tuturu?
Normally I like to go kind of like visit the animals, do my rounds, say hi, see if any of them are injured and need some help, check on the sick ones. So probably do that.
Great. So you get ready, get dressed, go down ramp. The main the Vernati base on the ground level, there is a garden where several of the Vernatis, elderly and children and saprolings, do tend a little bit of a personal garden here. There is also a central patio, like I don't know, just like
a conclave.
Not conclave. I was going to use conclave, but it doesn't really. Yeah. So yeah,
a veranda.
A veranda. That's a good one. I like that. Maybe
The
40 feet across.
veranda.
There's and
Florida room.
in your there we go. Perfect. In your Vernati, one of the roots of the tree sort of sticks out and juts out and curves into the main area, and built in that little section is a fountain, just a calm water feature in the middle. And of course, around all the outside of every Vernati, there are white marble archways, sort of demarcating where your personal Vernati is. So you leave out essentially the front of your, the front door of the place. No doors. In so much as there, unless it's somebody's room, there's no doorway into and out of just this massive circle. And you start making your way towards the Beastlands for your morning constitutional. The usual path, you walk past the typical neighboring communities and nod to the Ledev that you see on your morning walk. The Ledev Wolf Riders are local guard of the Selesnya. You see all the great things that the Selesnya have to offer, the wide array of people, centaurs, other dryads, other loxodons, humans, elves, half-elves, all kinds are welcome within the conclave. You make your way to your usual way out of the forested region and towards the Beastlands. And you see that old willow tree on the hill where you assume Mookie is. And yeah.
Actually, can I stop by there just to during my rounds?
Stop by
The willow tree. Just
Yeah,
to say hi.
absolutely. Sure. So yeah, you make your way over to the willow tree. And just like you assumed, Mookie is laying, eyes closed, just sort of napping up against the willow tree.
Give him a little poke. Good morning.
He does not move.
I mean, he is 10,000 years old, so he's probably a heavy sleeper. Give him another little nudge. Hey, good morning, Mookie.
Make a perception check.
First roll.
First
All
roll.
right, no,
First
here we go.
roll.
Oh, it's a
First
little
roll.
pressure.
First roll.
First.
So what I'm having as this, we're trying to introduce Magic players to Dungeons and Dragons. What I asked for was a perception check, which is going to use a number of numbers. She's going to roll a d20. She's going to add a wisdom modifier because that is a wisdom skill. And she is also going to, if she has proficiency in the skill, which do you?
Nope.
Nope, okay. If she has proficiency in any skill, then she would add that number to the roll as well. So what did you roll?
I got a 12 plus 3.
Ashley, those are
15.
tiny dice.
It's actually because I'm so big, because I'm a Luxodon.
Oh!
That's
They're regular
perfect.
dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we had a halfling if halflings existed in Ravnica and we had a halfling at the table, they would just have
You could use your big
massive.
dice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could use these big giant. Yeah. So 15 total.
Yes.
He is. They are, certainly not waking up, and doesn't appear to be moving at all. Make another perception check.
I'll just say, does he
Actually, this one's going to be investigation, but roll it at advantage because this is going to be a smell check, and with your trunk,
All right. Oh yeah. I have,
probably
what do I get
would
for my
have
trunk?
advantage.
So
You just have advantage.
Oh, okay. Cool.
One of the features of the Loxodon class is they have a trunk, and they gain advantage on some checks that have to do with smell.
And opening peanuts.
Not bad either
And
way.
opening.
I couldn't see what they were. 'Cause so tiny.
I got an 18 and then a 19.
Oh,
so.
nice.
On the dice,
Yeah.
plus whatever.
Nothing. I have no investigation skills.
Sure. You smell the faint odor of fire, old ashes, maybe hours old, like an old campfire that's been doused and put out, but still smoky.
And it's can I see? Did he have a campfire set up anywhere nearby, or?
From what you can tell, there's no fire pit, no campfire, no lantern nearby. No obvious source.
Okay. Does he look? How does he look?
Right now, he's laying on his back, eyes closed, up against the tree, sort of lounging. Not moving.
Okay. I will try I will gently try to lift him up.
Okay. As you lift him up, make a medicine check.
So since I have proficient, then I also add the +2.
Correct. So you take your dice number, you take your medicine proficiency, and
Yeah.
whatever skill medicine is.
Well, I think that's added in there though from D&D Beyond.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that is the total. Yeah.
Sweet. 22.
Well, that's a lot. Mookie appears to be dead. Your mentor, teacher, the Voda of your Vernati
Okay.
is...
Well then.
Jeez.
Good morning
Good
to
morning.
you too.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, this is...
Welcome to the game.
Yeah.
Everyone you love is dead.
There's no hope in the world.
Um, you can, and with that
okay.
check, I will also give you, as you lift them up, your massive hand behind Mookie. Once you realize that there's no life emanating from this being of pure life.
Yeah.
You can tell that the smell that you detected earlier is emanating from Mookie, and from Mookie's head.
Oh gosh.
And the eye lulls open, and there is no eye anymore.
It's burned out?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it appears as if with a 22, I'm gonna give you all of it. The eyes, everything inside the skull is gone.
Okay.
The stream is PG-13.
Just so you know, I just had his burn
You,
cooked from the inside.
Yeah.
It's, shocking to say the least.
Can I try? I'm gonna go ahead and try to dump a healing word into him, just because I'm freaking out right now. And
Sure.
There's got to be something.
Sure.
Something.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, you cast Healing Word. There's no point in doing a roll.
Oh God! You never like hearing that from the
I know. Okay.
It's there's nothing to heal. You see around you people going about their day, shepherds taking their flocks out, farmers with their plow beasts within eyeshot. Still foggy in the hills. The Ledev Guard is patrolling nearby. People are going about their day to day. And yet, here you are.
I'm going to try to cast it one more time. Just because, And as I do that, I'm going to let out this, bestial Luxodon. I don't know what you call it, a horn.
Toot-toot! Yeah.
A trumpet.
That's just really, really sad.
Yeah.
It's like a weeping trumpet sound.
Sure. Once again, the healing word has no effect. The trumpet sound is mournful and loud. Loxodons are you a small lot? You're like 7 feet tall?
I am 7'8".
7'8". You're
Yes.
a rather
I'm
tall.
Pretty tall,
Loxodon.
yeah.
Um,
Just like in real life.
And there you go. Perfect. Man, I love that meme so much. That's a Magic the Gathering. You got to look that one. Okay. There's no way to even look up that meme anymore, but we'll talk about that on Talkback. Loud and echoing, and the bellow of your trunk and scream carries through the hills and into the trees. It attracts the attention of the guard and some other folks nearby who approach. There is an elf, a wood elf, who you know is named Tolis,
Okay.
who is a Sagittar, one of the archers who patrols this area, essentially one of the soldiers, and approaches you and says, "What, are you all right? What's the matter?"
No, it's Mookie. He's not responding. He's dead.
What? How?
I don't know. His head, someone's cooked his head from the inside out. There's nothing there.
Oh my.
There's nothing.
He will call over Ledev, Wolf Riders. Dear, this is a great tragedy.
Who would do this?
We don't know yet, of course. We must do our own investigation. I will speak to the Conclave. We will have a new Voda sent, of course, for the Vernati. We must keep this relatively under wraps for now, until we know who is at fault. Take the day for yourself. This is a difficult situation. Go home.
But I want to help. Like he was like my father.
You can help when we know more information. We will take it from here.
Okay, what are you gonna do with him?
We will give them the traditional rites. You can make a religion check.
9. That's not it. +0, 9.
9. I mean, you have not experienced the death of a Voda, of your Vernati. You've never experienced a death of a Voda. This is a extremely rare circumstance.
Yeah.
But typically what happens when anyone dies in Ravnica, there isn't really, it's a city plane. There isn't really room for graveyards or cemeteries as common as we have in our lives.
You just kind of chuck them in the sewers, and the Golgari are like, well, we'll use this.
No.
That's what happens. That's literally what happens. And in the 10th district, typically what happens is, when someone or something, be it a sentient or non-sentient being dies, they go, well, they have their ceremony. There is they are laid up in the temple, which is on the top floor of the Vernati.
Mm-hmm.
And then they are summarily dispatched to the Dead Bridge region of Precinct 6, where they are. Their body becomes part of the earth again.
Okay.
The soul, of course, is a whole nother story associated with Ravnica, which I'm sure we'll get into later. But the pageantry around grave celebrations. Now, you don't know what's going to happen with a dryad of their stature.
But probably something big.
Possibly.
Okay.
The Ladev there are some clerics priests who come eventually, who take a look at the body and begin putting it on essentially a stretcher, and begin walking back towards your Vernati.
As they're walking by, can I try to ask one of them unless I would know what would have caused his head to do that?
Sure.
Do
you want to ask or do you want to think?
I'm gonna try to first. I'm gonna try to see if I can realize myself what would cause that.
Okay. Boy, what kind of roll for brain explosion?
Easy. I'm proficient in that.
Is that not a skill?
Yeah.
No. Boy, what would this be?
That's a skill.
You could make a history check. You could make an arcana check.
Does it look natural?
Medicine check. Oh, that's a good. Okay. Does it look natural?
Yeah.
Is a question
Yeah,
that I can
does it
have
look
you
natural?
roll for.
Okay.
Roll nature.
9.
Hard to say.
Okay. I will then turn to one of the other clerics and be like, "Do you know how he died? Was it quick? Did he suffer?"
We won't know. He's pretty open with you. Sees you're in pain. Are you asking Tolis or are you asking one of the priests?
One of the priests.
One of the priests. Okay. One of the priests. Let's say the priest is named Alcaris. Alcaris says to you, I'm so sorry that this has happened to you. And has happened to Mookie. This is a great loss. We won't know anything until we do a full investigation, I guess an autopsy of some kind, perhaps.
Okay.
We won't know anything, unfortunately, for a while. Come back later. I'm sure we'll as this is now our top priority of the day, of course, we will take them to the top temple of your Vernati, and you can find us there. So you sit there with your thoughts for a moment?
I'm going to sit there, kind of where we used to always hang out, and I'm just going to try to, like, meditate and commune with the elements around me. And just sit there.
You sit there for a while.
Elephant hippie stuff.
Hey.
Tall shadows loom in the fog in the distance. Gray mist is hiding their tops. Looks like they rise into the sky forever. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of town, what does a morning look like with Astaroth and Velma?
Well, so Astaroth, the first thing he has to do in the day. So Astaroth works. Astaroth, he's a big Boros Minotaur, so he wears full armor most of the time and feels more comfortable in that than he does just like normal. And he has been working at a nightclub, basically, as a little bit of extra help.
Sure.
So bouncing and handling the door and that sort of thing, but he still kind of has to do his rounds because Astaroth is basically a Boros beat cop. Like, he does some investigations and stuff, but a lot of what he has to do is just, like, making his rounds. And I like to imagine the way, like, a lot of his mornings start. There's a lot of, like, criminals and lower-level people he knows just on, like, a petty level.
For sure.
So he'll probably just, like, go up to a market stall and see someone who's, like, a regular pickpocket. And Astaroth just goes over and grabs him by the back of his neck and just lifts him up.
Love it. So your normal beat is in Precinct 3, which is pretty close to the Boros district. You aren't given a big leash, right?
Right.
You're probably on the Tin Street area of Precinct 3.
A lot of what I need to do is just maintain Boros' presence where I am. Remind people the Boros are here.
Right. So Tin Street is Ravnica's most prominent road. If you took a look at, let me try to flip this around for you. So if this is the 10th district, you have Precinct 1, 2, 3, which is where we are here. 4, 5, 6, right? So Precinct 4 is where you're hanging out, and where a lot of the Boros hang out. And the Transguild Promenade separates these districts, whereas the Tin Street separates these districts, sort of. I mean, it's not exact, but the Tin Street is on the western edge of Precinct 4. And that's typically your district. It's a lively, extremely busy, and kind of tough area. If you want to shop, if you need anything, literally anything, there are like hundreds of stores of all kinds, from weapons to curiosities to boating supplies to, all of the things. Why there's a boat store.
Hey, people need boats sometimes.
Right. Well, there are bodies of water in Ravnica and even in the 10th district.
How are you going to float on them?
Exactly.
You got to have a boat.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're doing your morning rounds. Meanwhile,
and anywhere where there's that many people, there's going to be people who are trying to take advantage of them, like grifters and pickpockets and stuff.
Can't be true.
Sure, make a perception check. Actually, you know what? Make this investigation, because you're actively looking for them.
All right. That is a 6. Just a 6.
You walk past.
You don't have any investigation modifier for
Everything's
fine.
No, I have perception.
That'd be good.
He walks by a guy just literally mugging and stabbing somebody. Everything looks good over here.
Yeah. Exercising.
So
Team sports.
There are there are your normal shop. I have my big list of shop names. Get ready for this. Get ready for this, everybody.
Oh my god.
It's a big tiny list. Those are very
It's
tiny
a big
lists.
tiny list.
Jeez.
You walk past the Bazaar Crovad, which is
It's a cronut place.
it's a place. They sell like charms and potions and like knickknacks and like Hummel figurine kind of stuff.
Right.
Right. Like this is where if you were vacationing from somewhere else and came to the 10th district, this would be a little bit of a tourist trap, kind of like a gift shop.
It's like a statue of Boros, like a Minotaur peeing on someone's wagon.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, you've got adorable paperweights and stuff like that.
A little Niv Mizzet figurine that like breathes a little bit of fire.
Oh, man. Love it. That'd be a little expensive, probably.
Rich people travel. Have money.
True.
What are you gonna do?
That's true. You walk past there, you see that it's busy. With a 9, everything seems legit so far.
Yeah, well, these days a lot of the regulars tend to come running go running when they see me coming down the street. So
absolutely. Velma.
So mornings Velma's not an early riser because she works very late at night running a very popular performance club. And so, but her club is open 24/7 because she likes to cater to people who might work nights and would like to have a place to go after their graveyard shift is over to unwind and blow off steam. So there are a couple of morning regulars that are in her club. And there's still a couple of like lower end performers and servers who are, not like the top notch of the levels, they're just like working their way in. They might not be ones who actually rent space from her yet. They might just be ones who are working just like they have their own places and they come in. Yeah. And so so she's kind of getting ready for her day. She does often during the day, as part of her position in the Orzhov Guild, she is known for being someone who's good at getting people to pay their debts. And so she does tend to have like a situation that gets set up during the day where she gets positioned to kind of sit and take audience from people who are very strongly encouraged to go see Velma, as opposed to having more violent acts done upon them if they are late on money. So on an average day, there's at least 3 or 4 of those coming in, if not more. And so I think in the morning, I think that like right now, she's probably, I don't know, is there a huge coffee boom in Ravnica, or is there a similar beverage? Yeah,
there's coffee.
Okay, so she's probably got a coffee. Yeah. She's probably kind of like, she's not hungover because she knows how to handle her booze, where she's not hungover very often anymore. But she's definitely like...
There's a coffee shop at so you're on the Transguild Promenade. Yeah. Southern portion, relatively near Augustin Station, which is the sky port, essentially, for most of the 10th. It's the main sky port for the 10th district. And you're relatively nearby. Great location. It's all about the location.
Yeah, well, Velma knows what she's doing.
And real estate's the only thing they're not making more of. Yeah. So although in Ravnica, they sort of do it. Like
they just keep building layers of city.
On the end of your block, there is a coffee shop called the Mind Grind.
Okay.
That you can stop in and get yourself a cuppa.
Okay.
If you want.
I bet you at this point they probably just like send a courier down with some for her on most mornings. They probably have a bit of an arrangement because they're both like
you've got like a goblin page kind of guy.
Yeah. Well, I have bartenders who are goblins, and they tend to do the there's not a
service.
The bar is not like a bar where customers go to the bar. It's a service bar. So the servers who work in the club go to the bar and get the drinks, as opposed to having customers go get the bar. Because it's like there's a whole economy inside the club where the servers and the performers sell the drinks to their customers, and it's like their way of being able to make more tips when they're not on stage, when they're not performing other services. So yeah, it's kind of like
we'll get more into the details.
Yeah, it's sort of a way that people who are working their way up in the club or people who are working earlier in the night can make money throughout their shift. They basically the more charismatic you are and the more alluring you are, the more you can talk people into paying you for drinks that they would have bought cheaper elsewhere. Right. But they come to the Generous Stray for the atmosphere.
The Generous Stray is the name of the bar, everybody, or the name of the club.
Yeah, it's a club. Yeah.
So there's your normal morning.
Yes.
Lucian, what does a morning look like for you?
A morning for me, this morning I believe would be him getting up. At this point, he's just sleeping in his office because he is doing investigations at all times, at odd times, and instead of just going home, he just sleeps there on the couch.
Sure.
So he wakes up and kind of starts a pot of coffee, goes to the bathroom, cleans himself up a little bit.
We drink a lot of coffee in this version of Ravnica.
It's a city.
Coffee is canonically a popular beverage.
I guess you're totally right.
If you look at the flavor text for Experimental Frenzy, it references coffee specifically.
So coffee is a thing. And then he sits down at his desk and sees that he has an envelope there that's from a payment from the last job he did, which was for actually a Rakdos client.
Oh, okay.
So this envelope is tattered, very almost crumpled. He takes out what's inside, and it's essentially just a check, but it's ripped in a couple places. So he starts using mending to just make it a whole piece of paper.
Oh, very nice.
And kind of shakes it out and leaves it on his desk. And
The mending does, in fact, fix the paper. Any portion where the ink was missing isn't replaced, obviously, but it's serviceable.
At this point, he's turned in so many of these checks that they're like, okay, you're good for it. We get it.
Yeah.
So he just kind of sits there and kind of rubs his eyes.
And the Rakdos are probably like notoriously difficult to work with. In this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Especially if they're hiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do not want to work with the Azorius.
Yeah, but sometimes even they have to.
Yeah.
If they need investigation done, we're the best to do it. So they sometimes have to come to us.
So it's a normal morning for most everybody, except for Tutoru.
It's like the worst morning ever.
Yeah. What do you?
It feels weird to say your name wacky right now.
I know,
like Tutoru.
Tutoru. What are you up to now?
Crying, more
crying.
Dear diary, crying some more.
Today I
This
cried.
is a rough day.
I've just been kind of sitting here because Mookie basically taught me how to commune with the forest and listen to the greater things that be. And was it the world soul basically? Or?
Yeah, commune with the world soul. Sort of listen to the forces of nature. And try to open yourself up in a meditative way.
So that's just kind of what I've been doing all day. I'm not very hungry right now. I'm pretty sick, and I'm just trying to figure out why this would happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you sit there for a little while. It's autumn in Ravnica. The leaves sort of tumble past you as you sit. There's a crisp gusts of wind as you sit there for a little while. The reds and the yellows of the leaves are small comfort to the great loss. Make an intelligence check.
I don't know what that is.
It's an 8.
Okay.
It's too small? The dice is too small?
No, it's fine. And then, so for intelligence, that's just my intelligence modifier, which is 0. So 8.
Giant hands can't read this dice.
Through all these tears.
Yeah.
There's not much you can think to do at this point.
Yeah.
The only idea that comes across your mind is that you are friends? ? Acquaintances, old friends, old acquaintances, with someone who might be able to help.
Well, how did what's his face? What's he called? Tolis?
Tolis.
How did he seem when I was interacting with him?
He seemed surprised at first, and then very matter-of-fact, businesslike, guarded, I would say.
Okay.
You can make an insight roll.
6.
Tough to read.
Great rolls right now.
Really stone-faced kind of character.
But did he seem off or anything, or was this just
I mean, he seemed worried. This is a surprising that you don't need much to know that finding a murdered Voda or a dead Voda of any kind would be a problem.
Okay. Well, there's not much I can do right now, but because this person meant so much to her, and she just can't really sit around and wait to find out more. She's gonna go. She'll probably go talk to the best people who can help investigate what's going on.
Sure. Okay.
Go to. I'll go to Lucian. and see what's going on. We used to go to cleric school together.
You went
for
to
a little
Prism
bit.
University together on the other side of town. Higher place of learning. That is a place of learning for sort of inter-guild knowledge, and all of the various magical classes would take their specific type of. This would be like before you declared a major, essentially, and so you know Lucian from way, way, way back in the day.
Yeah.
So you show up at New Prov. You walk. It's a long walk. You're walking a while, but you need some time to your thoughts. It's still gray and overcast today. Still a little bit windy. As you make your way from Precinct 3 to Precinct 2, where New Prov is. Now, have you ever been to New Prov? You think you'd ever been down this way before?
I doubt it. Is that like the pure like law area or?
Yeah, it's well, New Prov is specifically where the Azorius Guild is headquartered.
Probably not.
Okay.
I usually tend to stick to like the outer areas or like in the Selesnya regions.
Yeah. So you make your way south, out of the Great Concourse, out of down into more civilization, I would describe it as, and you arrive at the massive towers of New Prov, where Lucian works.
Okay.
It is 3 monumental, probably the tallest buildings in all of Ravnica, 3-sided columns that design makes the Azorius symbol if it was looked at from up atop, with the central concourse in the center, completely flat in the middle, with the 3 towers standing for the 3 columns of the Azorius Guild. You sort of start figuring out where exactly to go. You get pointed to the correct column where Lucian's office would be located, which is?
Which column is it?
Yeah.
I believe it's the... It starts with an S, I believe.
Sorry.
Super tall column.
The super tall.
It's just super tall.
Super.
No, it would be Laev, actually. Now
The Laev?
He used to be in Jalen. Now he's in Laev.
Ah, okay.
Because he's an investigator, yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be Laev.
So you get pointed to the Laev column, and you walk in to the front door of the Laev column, and it is tense in here. There's like a lot of judging silence as a clearly Selesnya person walks inside. It's quiet. Every clearing of a throat echoes. There is an info desk in the front and sort of like a reception area. It looks like there is a homunculus working the front desk.
Okay. I guess I'll start there then. I'll walk over.
Okay. You walk across the polished marble floor up to the desk, which is quite a sight to see a Loxodon trying to sort of. It's not. You're also a lot like this is a big atrium, but you're bigger than the desk by a wide margin, especially because the desk is manned or homunculused by a little tiny one-eyed blue illusion being.
So cute. I kind of take a moment and kind of like just look at it curiously, just like.
It's busy. It's busy.
What's that?
It's a little bit.
It's a Flibblethip
It is.
style.
It is similar to Fibblethip,
Flibblethip.
which is a. Don't worry about it.
I will worry about it.
Great.
You should work.
Go look up
Yeah.
Totally
It's
Lost
a
if you want to see what.
mid-level Magic the Gathering.
Right.
character.
Okay.
So you come up to the front desk, and this particular homunculus has a large single lens and one glass
Last eye.
that it peers through as it appears to be taking notes. This appears to be a relatively older homunculus, and as you approach, the shadow cast over whatever they're working on. Can I help you?
Yes. Sorry, she's a little nervous because like she's never been here and she usually trusts her conclave and everything, but something just seems off and it's weird, so she's a little nervous. I'm looking for Lucian Ladrian.
It's okay.
Make a
He's right here.
Last names are complicated.
Yeah.
make a general charisma roll for me. as Mukulfump is pretty snooty and superior.
18.
All right, well, but with your elephantine wiles.
I flicker my ears flirtatiously.
Nice.
Start to fly.
It is not my responsibility to guide you through the marked offices, but I can point you in the correct direction. I would suggest following the marked pathways to, and then gives you detailed instructions of how to get to Lucian's office.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
If you don't mind, before you head up, please wipe your feet. I know you can't really help it, but you're sort of tracking mud in
Yeah.
Sorry. All right,
Can I
that's
just
enough.
stomp right there and dust them off?
The whole place shakes.
Sorry about that.
You break one of his Hummel figures.
And then
There.
I'll head that way.
It's unfortunate.
How do you spell his name, by the way?
MKLPMHP.
MKLPH.
PMHP.
And did you use they pronouns for them earlier, or is it a they?
For the homunculus?
Yeah. You kind of switched, and I want to make sure.
Yeah, this would probably be a he.
Okay.
I'm not an, I'm not an expert.
I only
on,
asked because you used both. I was just
I
making
did.
sure.
Yeah. I apologize for that.
They're like creatures of illusion.
Yeah.
So
they can do what they want.
yeah,
but,
exactly.
I'll probably never talk to his characters. I don't know
Sure.
why. Why am
He
I?
just needs to know.
Now you
So
certainly
make
will.
so this is a complicated.
They're in my
It's
bedroom. What
very
are you
easy to get lost in New Prov. Everything is
Wonderful.
perfect and organized, and all of the hallways look exactly the same. Roll me. I guess roll me investigation. See how long it takes you to get there.
This is gonna be great. I got an 11.
Okay, good enough. I mean, you got pretty detailed instructions. Not a super high DC.
I
And
think the main problem is that most of the offices, it says Azori's Investigations is the name of the floor, but it's like Office 101, Office 102.
Exactly.
There's no names, just that's what it is.
Yeah. And your office is probably relatively high up, right? I would think.
No, I don't
No?
think it's that high up yet. No,
Okay.
this is his first year as an
Oh,
investigator.
sure.
So yeah,
Fair
he's
enough.
just starting. So maybe mid-level.
All right. So you do come across the door. That is the number. What number do you think? Let's come up with a number.
Okay, it is.
Yeah, roll percentile to tell me what number your
I'm just
office
gonna
is.
2, 6, 5.
Sure. So you get to office 0265.
0265.
L. Ladrian listed. Yes.
Well, go ahead. I was going to ask a favor question as a non-magic person. So
Sure.
I just want to get the lay of this understanding of this guild.
Yeah.
So like I understand that like the Azorius is kind of like the law and order, like they're the lawyers.
Yeah.
And, like but is it very bureaucratic, right? as well?
Extremely.
So you got promoted to investigator. Do you usually get sent out investigations, or do people typically come in the way Tutoru did, or is that like unusual?
It's a little bit of both because we have the Azorius have precognitive mages that literally see crimes before they happen sometimes. It's a little wishy-washy
Okay.
because it's not exactly legal to, arrest
Right.
somebody before it happens, but
But you kind of make
Plus, like
things
Samantha,
legal.
and like
Right.
Samantha
Right.
sees
Expedite
things the
it.
other
I
ones
think-
don't see. I got it.
yes.
So
Yeah.
he has his office. Clients would never come to his office.
Okay, that's what I
That's
was
pretty
asking.
unusual.
He would
usually.
meet them
Okay.
down in wherever the equivalent of the bullpen would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of your cases come in through the office
Yeah.
as well.
You're assigned a case
You're
usually.
assigned-
So a person walking up to a desk and saying, "I want to talk to this investigator," is like unheard of.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was interested in finding out, and I assume maybe somebody else might be. as
So
well.
you find a door. It's a very nice door. It is a human-sized door that says L. Ladrian. The only way that you know that it's not a broom closet is that it is labeled. But yeah, there you are.
All right. I'm gonna give it a little knock.
Sure.
I answer it within 5 seconds.
So Lucian opens the door.
Oh, Totoro.
Hey.
Hi.
Are you busy?
No. Come on in. Watch your head there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get into the office, and it is a human-sized office, and
and
it is
Kind of, like, awkwardly
it is
stand in
also
the
an
middle.
investigator's office.
I'm sorry. This place isn't exactly made for Loxodon.
It's okay. I'm used to it.
Let me just, I'm sorry, the place is sort of a mess, and there's just like a pillow that's just ajar, like on the couch. He just kind of straightens and says, please, just... I'm sorry.
You literally have to scrunch, not to, like, you almost have to get down on all fours to just, like, enter. And then once you're in, it's like a constant...
Just, like, kind of adjusting
Very
constantly.
I'm just picturing like The Incredibles where he's sitting in that cubicle.
Yeah.
And got, like,
It's basically that.
Can I get you some coffee? Anything?
No. I kind of just like keep looking at him and sighing for a little bit. I don't know how to explain this. What is he called? My
Voda.
Voda. Okay. So like my Voda, I found him this morning dead. Like
He's been murdered?
I don't know. When I picked him up, his eyes were burned out. It looked like his entire head was incinerated from the inside.
Lucian, make a history check.
All right. I got an 8, but I'm good at history, so that is a 12.
Sounds familiar.
I'm not going to say that yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to hear her story out first.
I walked to our usual place this morning, and he was there, and I thought he was sleeping. He's like 10,000 years old. He sleeps a lot.
Oh.
But he wasn't responding. Healing wouldn't work. But there was nothing around. Like he looked so peaceful.
Of course, I'm so sorry to hear about that.
I just didn't know who to go to. They're looking into it, but they didn't seem that concerned, and I didn't know what to do.
Right. So when something as big as this happens, I assume most of the guilds are notified, but has this gone through channels yet?
No. You have not heard about this yet.
Okay. Did it seem like a natural death, or...
It didn't to me, right?
Correct.
Did it? Yeah.
I mean, has another Voda passed away recently? I'm not 100% sure what that's like.
No, it was not natural, and no, this doesn't happen often, especially to like one of Mookie. Like it just doesn't happen.
I think if you're coming to me with this, I assume you'd like me to look into it.
I would like to find out what happened, yes. And I know you, I trust you, and I don't think I can do this on my own, and I want to find out what happened.
And you said when you found him, was there any sort of marking of foul play? Anything?
Did I?
Not with your perception check.
No, he was just laying there, like it looked normal. It was just when you pick him up and look into his eyeless skull, there was nothing there except for ash. Do you know what would cause that? Like what would cause his head to burn up like that?
I have a theory. Have you heard of the conflagration?
Have I heard of that?
No. I would just say straight up no.
You're like, no, we're not rolling for that one.
There's no way you would have heard.
I just kind of stare at you blankly and no.
It was, from what I've heard, and this was long ago, the sources are not reliable, but it was a method of murder that was unique to a series of murders that happened long ago, before even the Guild Pact was signed. And I'm sure it's just a coincidence. I'm sure it's not related, but it just strikes me as odd. And I'm not completely familiar with it, but
Do you think if you saw the body, you'd be able to tell?
It's possible. But I think I know someone else who might know a little more about this.
Okay.
Do you remember Velma Sweet?
Oh, yeah. She runs that club.
The Generous Stray.
Yes.
It's quite a nice place, actually. And she...
As a Silesian who, like, loves nature and everything that's not extravagant.
Not your scene. Like, it could be a nice place, but it's just like, you know...
she's a bit, from what I've spoken to her, a bit of a hobbyist about strange murders, and she might know something else.
Okay. Well, she does like to keep secrets, so...
Yes, hopefully she will share some of them for an old acquaintance.
Yeah, yeah, if you don't mind, let's go do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just, no, let's just go. Let's go. I'll just take a day off. It's fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything for you.
Taking a day off. You're a rebel.
Yeah.
First day off in like a month or two.
Yeah.
So
I'll make it up on my next vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work late hours.
So are you doing anything before you guys leave? You checking out, or what do you think?
I will probably, when I get downstairs, I'll talk to, I wrote his name down. I just call him M.
Sure.
So I don't mess up his name.
Call him Mike. That's kind of close.
Yeah.
No, well, I feel like he might be offended by that, but maybe I do.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, I'm headed out. Don't call me that, please.
Classic Mike.
All right, Mike.
Classic Mike.
Yeah, I'll let Mike know that I'm off for the day. If any assignments come in, just forward them to the next available investigator. And I will...
He sighs deeply and eyes you again. Says, "Fine." And then goes back to what they're doing.
Fine.
I think. Thank you again for your guidance. I really appreciate it.
It's no trouble. I know you can't help it, being so clumsy.
All right. Have a nice day.
They're not known for their manners. But they're great with paperwork, so...
Looks like it.
Yeah. All right, let's...
Not human resources. This is information.
He's more paperwork than man now.
I'm not 100% sure how to get there. Do you mind leading the way?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
I've been there a couple times. I'll lead the way.
So you, you head on out of New Prague, across Precinct 2, over towards. You can see the skyships and the flying beasts and the various vehicles of transportation heading into and out of Augustin Station as you head over towards the Generous Stray, which sits on the Transguild Promenade, one of the nicer parts of the Transguild Promenade, separating Precincts 1 and 2 from one another. Really good location that you have there. And you come across a building that you know very well, but perhaps you've not seen before, sort of in a row of other businesses. On a corner location, you see a sign that juts out and then hangs from the corner post that proclaims the Generous Stray.
Here we are.
Has an image of a cat on it.
All right.
What time of day is this now?
Probably close to noon, mid-morning.
Okay.
It is the fog has dissipated. It's begun drizzling a little bit. The light mist rain sort of patters down onto the wood and darkens it, but it's not like it's going nuts or anything.
This is the place. Like I said, I've been here before, on business, of course.
Oh, of course, sure.
And once for lunch, but
I kind of like.
let's
smile. Okay.
We'll just go to the door.
As you cross the street.
Does he seem
Would
flustered?
I be working here this time of day?
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I mean, it's up to you.
I don't think you would be working this time of day. I mean, I don't want to like step on narrative, but I mean, you might be checking in, maybe like when you're around.
I can see you coming by around this time of day.
Okay.
Because this is also.
Yeah, you did your morning round like that. That is your.
I
beat.
probably stop by.
All right.
Maybe you eat lunch here too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or you could be coming in get your paycheck or something.
Yeah, that
cool.
totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So as you approach the front of the Generous Stray, you do see your old acquaintance Astaroth, also near the entrance.
Well, if it isn't Lucian. Hey, Blue. I thought we said Miss Sweet doesn't really like it when you come around dressed all Azorius. It makes the patrons a little uncomfortable.
Well, I am here on official business, as it were, and good to see you.
Tootaroo! Hey, long time no see.
Long time. Your work. How's it going?
You know, just keeping the streets clean a little bit.
They do look very clean.
All right. Well, I don't mean it literally. You know what I mean.
Well, regardless, I think they look wonderful. You've done a great job.
Well,
I've seen the statistics for crime in this area, and it has gone down significantly.
Well, thanks. You here to see Miss Sweet?
I am. We are.
All right.
So it is open. No bouncer out front at this time of day, but you do walk into the Generous Stray, which you both are familiar with. But for Tootaroo, you would it's a nice. This is a spacious kind of door that accepts all comers, certainly. All types of large beasts. Astaroth with his horns can... Come on now. Unbelievable.
So I can walk in without
I was
ducking.
making a double entendre.
Yeah. I don't get out of bed for anything less than a triple entendre.
Fair
So
enough.
I skipped right past it. Anyway. So you walk into a pretty nice establishment. I mean, I don't know what you were thinking ahead of time, but it's lavish, but not gaudy.
It's very tasteful.
Very tasteful. It's
Lots of dark curtains, some plants. Lots of like at nighttime, it's candle lit. It's daytime right now, so it's probably more natural lighting than typically.
Yeah,
but it's glorious.
You see,
it's got enough edge that like rich kids can still feel hip.
Yeah, it's basically like people who are on the lower ends of society like save up to go visit it, and they're excited to go, and then like the rich kids like think of it as like, oh, we're gonna go slum at the Generous. Right? So like they're both kind of meeting in the middle, and like neither one of them understands that her price plans are designed to meet both their needs.
Right.
She doesn't want anyone not to be able to afford anything because she just wants money coming into her club.
Yep.
Right.
But
how long has Velma run the Stray?
I would say that she's been running the Stray for at least like 5 or 6 years, if not more.
Okay.
Because she's definitely like, you know, she's in her late 30s.
Sure.
So, and she'd spent some time
as a half elf. You certainly don't look late 30s.
No, I'm talking about just like actual passage of time. So
yeah.
I'm saying like you know, her like teens and 20s were spent on the like touring like music circuit and performing, and then kind of like towards the end of her 20s is when she started like pooling her money and like joined the Orzhov and like got like connected with this place. So I would say so
time to settle down and get a
like
job.
7 or 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in that time, you've probably redone the place from its previous ownership.
Correct. It's been a labor of love.
Okay.
Yes.
Quite. So just for my own personal edification, as the dungeon master, would you have redone the carpets?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it used to be a Rakdos lair, and the Rakdos, for the non-magic people like myself, as I've been explaining to, are a much more hedonistic and a little bit more of a violent pleasures kind of group, and I don't think that's the kind of atmosphere that Velma Sweet cultivates. She cultivates more of a very like dignified flair.
And the Rakdos had hardwood, which is like, ugh.
The Rakdos had carpet, and she took the carpet up and brought a glorious hardwood back.
Oh, right.
No, it's like a stone. It's definitely a stone building because it's
Okay.
still a fantasy setting. But yeah, it's just she's definitely put down like nice like elegant rugs, and you know they're still dark colors so that when things are spilled they don't show up very easily. And there's there is the occasional fluid here and there, so she's making
It's not
sure
like
that
there's
it's
blood
tasteful.
stains or burn marks all over the place.
Not like it used to be.
It's District 1 is very very anti-violence. Like there's a lot of the arresters are there very quickly. If there is something going on, like people are not allowed to openly carry their weapons in this district.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of bloodshed. It's considered very like
this is Switzerland.
Like gauche. Yeah, and like if you have weapons like on your person, like no one trusts you, and everyone like it's very much a like you are breaking our like you're harshing our mellow here, dude.
Yeah,
like what are you
exactly.
doing? So
And interestingly, you see, having just delivered your coffee, you see Sunnix You might know the name Sunnix. You certainly know Sunnix. Sunnix is a goblin who is in the employ somehow of Miss Velma Sweet, and is doing the morning dishes or just like walking around cleaning, like dusting stuff off, and says, "Hey, put them away. Put them all away.
All right, morning, Sonny.
Hang them up."
How do you spell his name?
Sunnix.
Exactly. That's
Sunnix.
I'll take my my axe out and just hang it up on a peg.
Yep.
In like
That's
the
your
check
peg.
room, basically.
Yeah. There's essentially a weapons check, and also all the guild marks. You know the rules.
Yeah.
Pocket your lockets.
Well, you want me to take my horns off too, huh?
No, it's fine. You're fine. You know you're fine. You're not working right now, are you?
No.
You also would
Stopping
probably
by.
not want to openly blazon your Boros logos when you're working anyway.
Yeah.
that would be
a bit much.
I think that Velma would encourage you not to have your Boros stuff on while you're working the door at her club.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's because this is just like in the middle of doing the beats. I probably don't mind.
Yeah, you walk straight from work.
Yeah.
It's totally get it if you're in uniform.
And I think when I come at like to actually work, I do not wear my signets and stuff. I go for more the just like guildless minotaur look.
Yeah.
Because you take a club seriously
Sometimes
if
you're
you've got a
man of the
minotaur
people,
bounce.
Right.
Or you're a minotaur.
Right. A minotaur of the people.
Yeah.
So you
Minotaur the
guys,
Minotaur.
you guys are now in the generous string. What would you like to do?
I guess we'll walk up to Sunny. What was he doing?
Sunnix, yeah. Oh,
Sunnix.
Sunny's
I call him Sonny.
Sunny's great.
I caught on real quick.
M and Sunny.
There's a lot of nicknames
What's
going
up?
on.
I like nicknames.
Is Velma in?
Yeah, of course she is. She's always in.
All right. Well, no reason to be rude about it. I was just being.
Yeah,
we'd like
fair
to
enough. Yeah, she's upstairs.
Can you let her know that we'd like to speak with her?
No, you let her know.
So I can just go upstairs.
I mean, you're with him, right?
All right. Look, I'll handle it. Sonny, you're a joy to work with as always.
Piss off.
Fine. All right. Come on, Blue.
I'm gonna have to speak with my employees. Disposition.
He's just, it's a job,
And they're not customers; they're people walking in breaking the rules. So it's
Right.
Yeah.
Not super busy at this time of day,
Yeah.
obviously. So it's his sunny disposition is.
Hey.
Hey,
That's his last
we
name.
did it. Disposition's his last name. So you guys walk up some stairs. Nice staircase. This is it's a pretty nice place. I mean, I don't know what you were expecting, but
Are they walking into the main club room, or are they walking in?
Not enough grass in
Yeah,
here.
if you
Yeah,
want to
there's-
describe what the main club room.
Sure. It's only like a small. It's not like a whole flight of steps. It's just like some steps up from a street, like a stoop, basically.
Okay.
And then you walk in, and you come in the front door, and you know this already, but to the left, there's like a set of steps that go even higher into like an actual like a higher floor, and then kind of in that corner is the bar where the performers can get their drinks and take their customers, and then that's that area. Just to the side of that, there's like a really nice, very well decorated stage with like a nice proscenium arch, and like it comes out a little bit. There's like a what would be like essentially a microphone. It's like a stick with a rock that's been like enchanted to have like thaumaturgy so that people it basically works like a microphone. It's a magical microphone. It's magic mic. And there's a big open area with like various levels of seating. Like there's definitely some very extravagant like VIP kind of booth areas, and there's also just some more like casual like nightclub, supper club kind of tables, like just round tables, two chairs around them.
Yeah.
Some like nice chaise lounges and stuff like that. And
Really nice furniture.
Yeah.
Like overstuffed chairs,
Does it look
cushions.
like really rich?
it's a
Like-
little mix. Like
Okay.
it all looks nice.
Yeah.
Even the stuff where like the common folk would sit are still designed to be like, oh, it's a nice evening out for us.
Mhm.
But then like as you get to the areas that would cost a lot more, it's a lot more extravagant. And there's like rare materials being used in the fabric and stuff like that. But it's all very well weaved together, so it doesn't seem like, oh, here's the poor people section.
Right.
Which was like it's just like it's very like tastefully like intermingled and in a way that lets people who want to feel like they're being pampered feel it without letting people who are below them go like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm not important here. So and she is currently, if you come in that area, she is sitting at a table that is kind of like one of like the rounder tables. She has some paperwork in front of her, and there's a there's a person sitting at her table, looks very nervous and kind of fidgety, and there's a man sitting at another table kind of off to the side who doesn't have his insignia on right now, but seems like he's probably Orzhov. Like, he just kind of has that vibe of someone who's like, doesn't seem as official or cordial as either one of them. He's a little more sketchy. And...
Yeah. You can make a perception check as you approach the table if you want on either. I mean, wherever you want to look.
I mean, can I also how does it smell in here? Like,
sure.
I have a sensitive nose.
Great. Well, use your keen smell and tell me with advantage what number you have.
Advantage. That's a 14. That's an 8.
Advantage means that you roll twice, by the way, everybody. In 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, if you have advantage, you roll twice and take a higher number, and then add your bonuses. And disadvantage is take the lower number and add your bonuses.
So,
I love that mechanic.
I think it's a really good.
So simple, so good.
Yeah.
17.
17. At this time in the morning, it's been cleaned in the evening. I would say it smells like old furniture and lovely in here.
Like like polished mahogany.
Yeah.
No, I think you with your keen sense of smell do get just a slightly seedier scent of like, not quite like beet, but like you definitely get that like something a little bit more like salacious happens here as well. But that's kind of wafting in from upstairs. But it's obviously been cleaned and like sprayed and like cleansed out. Right. But you get just the hint of it. Like you kind of get the idea. Like this
probably also catch that there's been cleaning supply. A lot of cleaning supply.
Yeah. Kind of curl my nose because it doesn't smell like very naturey.
It's a little sickly.
You get like a bit of, there's a little bit of pheromone in the air, I think is a way to put it. Like it's a house of ill repute as well. Of well repute, I would say.
Medium repute.
Yeah. It's got some repute of some sort.
Velma is appears to be interviewing a Vidalcan of some kind, who is a tall, lithe, blue person. It's a race native to Ravnica and several other Magic the Gathering planes. The Vidalcans of Ravnica tend to be of the thinking and philosophical and teaching and sort of the blue-aligned guilds as a blue person. This one appears to be bearing the markings of a Simic, scientist of some kind maybe, or researcher, sort of wearing like the Simic version of what Lucian is wearing, but like much more academic probably. And sitting across from Velma and sort of not really hunched, because Vidalcans don't really hunch, but as folded in on himself as he possibly can be. Fully bald, by the way, Vidalcan, and is sitting there and says, "Look, I think that we can come to an arrangement here. I would really like to get this settled as quickly as possible."
From what I understand, that is what everybody here would like. So how can we make that happen faster?
The Vidalcan will glance over his shoulder at the gentleman sitting in the other booth, or the other table. The other gentleman is trying to stay out of the sunlight. Appears to be a large human, probably, quite overweight, wearing very nice clothes. And that's what you can sort of tell from your vantage point. Well, the payment structure that we previously agreed upon has been most helpful. Unfortunately, I've come across some emergency repairs that need to be done, and I would like to refinance, if possible.
What is your business?
I am a purveyor of scrolls and books and collected intelligentsia, and I operate off of the Sage's Row.
How often do you get... And she kind of like looks over and sees the Azorius standing in the room.
This one?
Yeah, and kind of just says, rare, delicate items, things that might be very expensive or very valuable.
I make an insight check.
Okay. That is going to be a 13 plus my insight, which is 3, so it's a 16.
Very cagey. I mean, Vidalcans in general are very controlled, but you pick up that he sort of scans his eyes a little bit, trying to organize his thoughts in his head, as if perhaps trying to find some papers and then place those papers somewhere else inside of his own brain, and says, that is something that I pride myself on, yes.
And would it be the worst thing in the world? Would it be a huge ding to your pride if maybe once in a while, and she like leans in and casts message, and she kind of like darts her eyes quickly over to Lucian in a way that she's trying to make it clear to the guy she's talking to who she's looking at.
Okay.
And then I'm going to cast message, which is a cantrip that allows me to whisper to someone that I can see, and they can hear me, nobody else can, and they can respond that nobody else can hear as well.
So you're casting message at Lucian?
No, I'm casting it at the guy I'm talking to.
At the guy you're talking to, but you're making eyes at Lucian.
I'm indicating to the guy that there's a cop in the room.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
You're like,
look, the fuzzer here.
Yeah, cheese it, it's the cops.
Yeah.
So
we're not doing anything wrong, right?
Yeah.
So what she basically says is like, so she says to him, without using whisper, out loud, she says, would it be a horrible damage to your pride to give up some of those? And then she kind of like leans forward and kind of like covers her mouth as she casts the whisper. And she says like, that land in my possession.
This studied Vidalkin would certainly know that message was just cast.
Yeah, she's not trying to hide it from him.
Right.
She's
but
making it clear to him.
he is going to make a perception check to see if he can pick up
Okay.
the cop in the room.
Sure.
To see if there's a reason here. But he can also,
Yeah.
of course, respond. Oh yeah, he'll pick it up. He sort of gets the hint very easily, and very subtly glances and says, perhaps, responds in message, perhaps I can misplace one or two.
I'm going to roll a persuasion. I'm going to roll intimidation.
Great.
Nope. Okay. So that is going to be a 7. So she's just going to go, okay.
I think better of being too intimidating with the Azorius.
Yeah, I think what was going to happen was she was going to push for more, but knowing that she's kind of she's being watched, and knowing that she kind of just wants to get this guy out of here so she can get to whatever needs done here, she just kind of goes,
tough situation.
That'll work. And then she looks, and then like she goes, I think we've come to arrangements, and we'll be in touch.
The Vidalkin will stand, look at you, and slightly bow and say, much appreciated. Thank you. I will be by soon. Sort of straightens himself up and turns and walks past you all. And yeah, that is what has happened.
I turn to the Orzhov guy. That I'm assuming he's I named him. Does he have a name that you've already decided for him? Or should, okay, I will say Octavius.
Great.
I believe that Inspector Ladrian is a man of specific tastes, and I would like to give him discretion. If you could excuse us, please.
He will eye you through his sort of beady eyes, his hands resting upon his ample stomach, sort of Tony Soprano-like, just sort of sizing up the situation. Glances over at the Azorius law mage who's entered the establishment and the brute squad, apparently, that he associates with him, the large Minotaur and Luxodon, and sort of
He would probably
glances.
know the Minotaur because he's
Right.
there all the time.
Yeah,
Been around.
So he'll glance about and look back without saying a word, simply just sits there for a second, then stands up and starts walking out. And it is you all in this section of the bar now.
Miss Sweet, I gotta say, I know he works with you, but that guy gives me the creeps.
He can still hear you.
Well, I think he knows it.
I think it's his intention.
Octavius doesn't turn around. He just slowly ambles. He's got his cane,
his head's going,
his fancy cane.
Yeah.
And he's walking out the door. And as he leaves, he will open the door, glance over, and make a small eye contact with you, and exit.
Yeah. She's like, she looks around, and she's obviously like, there's a flash of annoyance. But then she kind of hides it quickly, and she's like, and she looks at you. She goes,
"It's like everybody the Azorius ever meets." So.
Yeah. she goes, Inspector Thadrian, what an unexpected but pleasant surprise.
Look, they were coming in on their own. I just helped them.
And Tutoru, it's been so long. How are you?
And then I kind of, is there a place to sit in this office?
Actually, let me take you somewhere.
So this is still on the main floor.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of fact. You were in a booth.
I was sitting at a table.
At a table. So yeah, there is seating at this table. It is human seating.
There's a big chaise lounge you could sit on if you want to do that.
There's a big chaise lounge. There are also larger items of furniture about the room, more designed for ogres and loxodons and the larger of stature. Not at this table.
Right.
Yeah, I actually get up from my table because whatever they want to do, I don't want to be sitting in the middle of my club talking to a cop. So I go, I actually say, I think we have something just for what you need. So she's playing it like you're looking for something that she provides. Says, I think we have something to your specifications. Follow me. And she walks up, she like just gets up and walks up the steps.
Great.
Great.
All right, I guess we just follow her.
All right.
Okay. So I take them into a room upstairs, and
so there. Once you get upstairs, there's probably a landing or a hallway.
Yeah, it's almost like a hotel hallway. Like, you know the hotel hallways that like kind of go around in one big square. It's like that, and the decorations in the hallway are kind of similar to downstairs, like a lot of tapestries and carpeting and stuff like that to like make it look very nice, like to cover up an older because like whatever was established before this, so it doesn't look all dingy and dungeon-like. It looks very like comforting and like alluring. It's designed to like there's like hanging curtains and there's a lot and like candlelight, and the candles are lit at the center because there's no natural lighting in this hallway. Yeah. Okay. So it is designed to be very like salacious and very like
nice red candles. Sort of it makes it. I mean, it's dark, but it's not dim.
Right.
Up here.
So she takes you to a currently unoccupied like bedroom. It's like one that's like kind of used for larger groups for things. And so she opens up. You definitely smell that scent a lot stronger up here.
I was just gonna say.
My nose curls even more a little bit. I'm just kind of like.
Yeah, and but there's a big bed that can fit you, and there's there's stuff that you can fit on.
Nice big circular or like a heart-shaped bed, or
sure, yeah. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. That's a bit much.
That's a little too gauche for what she's doing
I
here.
Agree.
It's so it's like a canopy bed, and So then like there's also like a nice like big high back chair that she like sits on and like kind of crosses her legs, and she kind of sits down and like waits till they're in, and like the door is like she nods to Esterok to close the door behind him, and you get the sense that this room is very like not airtight, but like there's something about this room. It's like once the door is closed, she feels more comfortable speaking when it was open.
This is a room. You get the sensation that this is a common occurrence to have private meetings.
Yeah, amongst other things.
Things.
I like to imagine in the closet there's like a couple different guild costumes for whatever you like feel like playing out.
Right?
Oh yeah, there are definitely some things in the closet that you kind of like. I don't want to know how that gets used.
We have to do an investigation check on the closet. We got to save something for the rest of the season.
Yeah, okay.
So this room is rather large.
How much time do you think we're going to spend in this one particular bedroom over the course of the season?
That's fair. But the room itself does have a window, but of course to the outside.
I don't think it does.
No?
I think that this is something that because their customers wouldn't want people to be able to see in from outside. Sure. If there is a window, it has been like covered and like drawn. Yeah, there's definitely like things like to make
maybe there's a window. All you see is curtains.
Yeah. So she sits down in this high back chair and she crosses her legs and she doesn't say anything else. She just looks at you.
Astaroth just kind of goes over to a corner and kind of leans up against it. He's been around for like talks like this before, but usually he's just there to like remind other people that, you know, if they decided to suddenly get violent,
if push comes to shove,
handle it.
then push will come to shove.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Miss Sweet, thank you.
You can call me Velma. We're friends.
And as soon as she says that, I'm just gonna like let out this big sigh of like, okay, and I like walk over and I like try to give her a hug.
I don't fight you off, but I definitely am still like not sure.
I was
what's
about to
happening.
say this might be a grapple check, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think we're good.
she's very much like okay.
And I just start crying.
So something is happening.
Yes, I'm gonna. There's probably like a jug of water and some glasses. So I'm gonna.
Do you need me to take care of?
No,
we don't really do
no.
that here.
Nothing.
We send the performers out to,
No.
to your...
Stop talking.
Okay.
Before we
I mean, no judgments.
say anything, we are here to consult on a case that has just come to my attention.
Oh.
But it is of a sensitive matter and not fit for the public. So, and I kind of look over at Astaroth.
Well, that's rather seedy for you.
Well, there's quite a few investigations that are not fit for the public that I don't just tell everyone about. And this happens to be one of them, so...
I'm a little impressed. I assume you would go through all the proper paperwork for pretty much every investigation you get involved with.
I certainly will, as soon as I know what I am actually investigating.
Astaroth, darling, let the man say what he's here to say.
Right.
Like, you notice when you say not fit for public knowledge, like, her body language completely, like, turns into, like, she's very interested all of a sudden. Like, she went from being, like, annoyed that you were here to being like, ooh, this got interesting.
You suddenly have something interesting.
Astaroth, I don't mean to be me, but I think you may have to...
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Are you sure? Because I don't know if involving the Boros is a good idea. At this point,
There's
not saying...
no Boros here. There is just a man who works in a Minotaur who works in my club.
Look, I'm Boros, yeah, but I've been my own man for a long time too, okay? I understand. You gotta do things your own way sometimes. I'll step out if you want me to, but I'm not gonna be a problem.
Velma, if you are vouching for him, then that is fine.
I vouch for no one, but I am letting you know that he has been working for me for quite a while now, and that is something that tends to already bend his allegiance to the Boros, as it were.
All right, another set of ears couldn't hurt, but everything we say from this moment on is of the utmost confidentiality.
Boy.
Earlier today, while I was making my rounds, I came across my
Voda.
Voda.
You could say your mentor, your teacher.
Yeah. I came across my Voda, Mookie, who is he's been with me since I can't even remember. His face was basically incinerated from the inside out. And I don't know why or who or where, but it doesn't feel right. Something feels off, and I don't know what to do.
I'm sorry, did you say burned from the inside out?
Burned, completely burned. His eyes were just pure. You could see into the inside, and it was just ash.
So someone cast a spell, like a produce flame inside of his head, or...
That's what we believe.
Would Velma have heard anything about this yet today?
No.
Okay.
In fact, no one has heard about it, which is why it's a bit concerning.
I'm very concerned by this. Normally this kind of information would have made its way to me already.
Yes, something as big as possibly a Guildmaster passing would be big news. Someone that is even older than a Guildmaster should be even larger. Yet we have heard nothing at the Azorius, and it may be something that they are trying to keep hidden.
Astaroth.
Astaroth shifts a little uncomfortably
Mm-hmm.
in this whole thing, and he starts to kind of like fiddle with the end of his horn, which is something he kind of does when he's nervous or thinking about things.
That horn, by the way, is covered in a metal tip.
Yeah,
If I'm not mistaken.
His right horn, the tip has been broken off at some point, so it has been replaced with basically like a metal prosthetic tip.
You should get aluminum foil on there.
That's a great idea. I'm definitely going to do that now.
Astaroth, do you know something? You seem like you know something.
No, I think it's just a coincidence.
Make an insight check on that.
Okay, yeah, I only got a 4 on that. So I got a 7 with my modifier.
Sure. It's not so much that you believe him, it's that that's not the most interesting thing happening right now.
Okay.
Right.
Huh.
Now, Velma, we have spoken sometimes about your interest in strange murders.
Yes.
And I was wondering if you have ever heard of the conflagration.
I'm surprised you've heard of the conflagration.
Well, we do tend to go through a lot of books.
Even so, I go through a lot of books and very few have heard about it. You're talking about the Embershard murders. Is that right?
Sure. I think it's, let me get the wording right.
Hang on, I have the thing. Hang on. Sorry.
Nvermind
Murders.
Nvermind Murders.
Yeah, I think Embershard is a cave in Skyrim. You're talking about
Which there might have been murders in, right?
Sure.
I mean, there were definitely murders in there because I was in there. You're talking about the Nvermind Murders.
It seems you know a little more than I do about it, because I do not know what that is.
Well, it's basically what we're describing here. It's the conflagration. There was a series of murders, very grisly, where the victims were, as you said about your dryad
Mookie.
friend Mookie, that it seemed like the victims had their brains burned from the inside working outward. It was a long time ago. It was actually before the Guild Pact.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I believe they were eventually captured by what was soon to be known as the Boros.
That's my understanding of it. I don't
How
do much book reading, but stories about that sort of thing get spread around the Legion.
How convenient. Good for you.
Well, we got the job done. Unlike some other guilds, I won't point any fingers at.
Make another insight check on that one.
All right. All right, that's going to be a 13.
Okay. You actually don't know this. This is something that you're sort of like, oh yeah, sure. This is if the Boros caught him. Yep, sure did catch the Nvermind killer.
Yeah.
Sure did, and you catch on that.
Yeah, I don't say anything about it right now.
Sure.
I don't say anything about most of what I like. I don't really respond to what he said. I kind of look at that and I was like, oh yes, quite good. So what do you need from me?
Well, I was hoping you would say that this is just a fancy coincidence and that it's not connected to what happened to Mookie. But it seems that you don't seem to think that at all.
Inspector, I don't believe anything that happens in Ravnica is a fancy coincidence.
But who would have access to something like, conflagration?
The thing about conflagration is that no one knows what caused it, so knowing who has access to it is a logical leap that I don't think one could make at this juncture.
I'm gonna have you. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh. Astaroth kind of like steps forward. I didn't want to say anything about this because technically I was told not to, but I don't like covering things up. That's not why I became Boros, not to keep secrets. I'm here to help people. There was a case the other day. It was an elf or a human. You know, you all kind of look similar to me.
Wow.
They are short.
Yeah, right?
We are sure.
Right? They just, they don't have horns, they don't have tusks. I mean,
Your money
ears.
all spends the same to me. So.
Look, a really similar thing happened, okay?
Wait, there's been a second of these murders? At least?
Yeah. Their brain was burned out of the back of their head. I assumed it was just some Izzet mage trying some new contraption. But they told me not to say anything about it, and we haven't been investigating it like we should be.
Who was the victim?
I don't really know anything about them.
Make a, I guess this would be... This would be a general intelligence check. Maybe this would be investigation. Do an investigation check
Okay.
for me. Just in case you happen to have overseen specific documents here.
Ooh.
Nat
yeah.
20.
Natural 20.
Oh, I actually have a photo of the crime scene right here in my phone.
Well, actually,
I did it.
For those of you unfamiliar with the natural 20, on a 20-sided dice, you have one that is the best possible result, and that is what you've gotten.
Well, 20 is the best possible.
20 is
one is the worst possible.
Yeah.
1 is the worst possible.
Just to clarify language.
Right. Apologies, yes. Natural 20 is very good. So you weren't, like, on this specific case. You weren't one of the people that came across the body. You weren't one of the people who was on the scene. But this was the talk of the precinct when it happened.
This was probably like kind of scuttlebutt because we
Yeah.
were told not to say anything officially.
Correct.
About
Inside of Sunhome,
Uh-huh.
the Fortress of the Legion, where you work and report back to after you're done with before and after, is where your cop locker is and where all of your day-to-day operations are based out of. This was the scuttlebutt amongst the cops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As we shared our dough circles and drank our coffee and stuff.
Dough circles.
Yeah.
I got it.
Dough circles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly who it was. Mostly it was just rumors that flew around in the Legion. But I think must have been someone important because they are covering it up. And I just don't like that. All right?
Astaroth, how long ago was that?
Not too long.
Yeah, you would know that it was less than a week ago.
Sometime last week.
And how long does it usually take for the Boros to dispose of remains?
I can't say. I don't know where they kept it. Normally, the Golgari eventually get their due. But if the investigation's still going, they might still be locked up somewhere.
Do you think that you would have a particular interest in this?
I think I would be morbidly interested, but murders happen on the streets of Ravnica decently often.
Sure.
And as I said, I think my general assumption when they were like, oh, its brains got burned out was like, man, the Izzet sure don't know how to be reasonable about things.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you wouldn't necessarily know where the victim would be.
Right.
Or if they've been disposed of or any of that kind of stuff. Make a... this is going to be a history check.
Okay.
And probably at advantage.
Okay.
Because this is something you know
20
a bit about.
Okay. Okay, that first one is a 16, and then I'm going to roll again, and my history is a +1. Oh, and as for the magic people, I am so that's going to be a 17, my advantage. I am a bard, and one of the things that I get at level, I think it's 2 or 3, I have a thing called Jack of all trades, which basically means that I actually get to add half of my proficiency bonus to all of my rolls.
Right.
Wow.
Even things you don't
pretty
specialize in.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and things that I specialize in, I actually get double my proficiency bonus. So
That's
like,
pretty cool.
bards are designed to be very like well-rounded characters and designed to be like
Skill
pretty
monkeys.
good at like everything, but like not necessarily great at any one thing. Although I am pretty good at some one things. But yeah, so on that one, for example, history, I didn't naturally have a history proficiency, but because I'm a jack of all trades, I got half my proficiency bonus. I got a +1 to my roll. And then Jordan, sorry, You're Jordan. Reuben gave me advantage because of my knowledge.
Yeah,
Sorry.
not her backstory and her history with the subject.
Okay.
So what was the total?
I had 17.
17. It certainly sounds like more than a coincidence, obviously.
Yeah.
You have fewer details on the second, apparently, victim.
Apparently the first.
Apparently the first.
At
victim.
least the first victim.
Right. Now that you have 2 victims, but it has not been it has been a while since this has been anything but a story.
Yeah.
The initial killer who did the conflagrations and the Nvermind murders, at the time, obviously this was before the Guild Pact. This was 10,076. We're in 10,076 Al Concordant, which is 10,076 years after the signing of the Guild Pact.
That's where we are right now.
That's where we are right now. But this was before that. So there's, most of it has been lost to time or is in vaults somewhere. You've done as much research as you possibly can. But there just isn't a lot of research to be had.
I think I find more probably speculation than I do actual research.
Mm-hmm.
Like I find various theories from old scriveners and stuff that this is what we think might have actually happened.
Yeah.
It's kind of in my opinion, it's like when you watch read about the Zodiac killers and they don't actually know who did it. And there's all these books no, this guy definitely did it. And the movie's no, this guy did it.
Right. From your research,
or Jack the Ripper,
you know that someone was arrested, captured, and convicted of these killings. The name of this person has sort of been the specific name of this person, and obviously this was before the guilds.
Yeah, so this was 10,000 years or more ago. So,
yeah. But the story is that a man was arrested, captured, convicted, and executed for these murders.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you know.
And there's something else that I know, but I haven't shared.
Yeah,
to them.
Sorry, I'm trying to. I was trying to hint at stuff without. Yeah, but we know.
Yeah. Well, the listener.
Well, tell us.
I know.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Look at
By the way, there's no way to in character,
elephant.
She said. I know things and I'm not saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm also not in character.
She definitely, when you said the thing about the bodies, I think you definitely noticed her, think to herself for a second and then not say anything.
Tutoru, do you happen to know where this body's being kept?
I would when I was
You were told that Mookie was returned to his Vernati and would be in the temple.
He'd be returned to the Vernati and kept there until they prepare for the ritual they do to send him off, essentially.
Yeah, this is all creepy Celestia stuff. So you guys probably don't know a ton of it, right? The Celestia are great, but they're a little cultish, a little bit.
They're the Insular Guild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all insular guilds, but they in particular are the convent in the middle of the forest of Oregon, right?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Where it's just come join us, right? A little bit.
Not free will.
Not you though. You.
They're a little less culty than the cult of Rakdos.
Correct.
But
Tomato.
but they're not that much less culty.
Right. It's more like the Scientology guys on the street.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot more like that. So you guys probably don't even know. I mean, you might know what a Vernati is.
Sure.
You certainly don't.
No
There's
idea.
no way you would. I mean, unless it's come up in conversation and went, yeah, that sounds like something I want to learn about.
I might know the word.
You might know the word.
I might have maybe I don't know what it actually looks like, but I think I would get a general concept of it.
Right. It's the Celestia equivalent of a gated community.
Yeah.
But it's all gated communities.
Yeah. If there's a place that's holding secrets, I think Velma definitely knows what it is. Knows about
exactly.
it.
I would say Astaroth's connection to nature and that side of things is way closer to Gruul than Selesnya.
Yeah. The red aspects of Boros much stronger than the white aspects of Boros connecting
Uh-huh.
in there for sure.
Yep.
And so what she's describing to you is essentially the gated community that surrounds the Vernati. And you probably don't even know what the word Voda is, but this person, theoretically the Voda is something important in this community. And you got the context clues that this was her mentor of some kind, and that the temple is in the Vernati. You would know the layout of your Vernati,
Right.
of course.
And so his body is at the temple?
That's what
until
they told
prepare it? Okay. Yeah. So his body will be at the temple until we all gather to commune with Mott Selesnya and send him off to the world soul.
When is that?
When is that? It's like 7 days from now?
That the
How long
body
do those
would be...
rituals usually take? Like,
So
the
for...
preparation?
You don't know how it's going to work with a Voda.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
traditionally, it's the same day. Typically, it's not very long. When someone dies, there's a brief period of mourning, and they are have a ceremony and then put in a pine box and shipped off.
Okay.
It's really not very ceremonial death on Ravnica at all.
Okay. Well, then I kind of jump and say, what time is it?
It's a little past noon, I believe.
Yeah, a little past noon, maybe stretching towards 1 or 2.
Well, he'll be there until tonight, but after that, he'll be gone.
He'll be gone. Then I need to work quickly.
What, are you just gonna waltz into the Selesnian conclave?
I mean,
Yeah,
I can...
Yeah, that's what we do.
All right.
Is there something wrong with that?
Well, no, I'm just thinking you're gonna make a big, obvious thing about this.
I think someone needs to make a big obvious thing
Well,
about
if
this.
it's being covered up, we just need to be careful.
We.
Well, obviously, I gotta find out what's going on now. Look, if the Boros are covering this up and the Selesnians are being strange about this, there's something bigger going on.
I don't know what's happening, but I trust my Vernati. How do you say that?
Vernati.
Yes.
If you trust your Vernati, then why did you go to see Inspector Ladrian?
Because I just wanted to make sure.
Well, all I'm saying is that if you want to make sure, maybe we should be a little underhanded about this.
Well, Tutru, you are technically my client, so it is up to you who you hire in addition to me for this case.
Well, I think we've worked together before, so I think it worked okay, and I trust you guys. So I think we'll be okay together.
I also think some of those things, and they should still remain as confidential as possible when proceeding.
Oh, are you wanting to hire me as part of this?
Would you help?
Sure.
Kind of get I start to cheer up a little bit. I'm getting a little
Great.
Yeah, I think I can handle
Look.
confidential.
I could probably find a little bit more information about what happened on the Boros end of things. Just
That's
check out some of my friends in the Legion, see what anyone who knows a little bit more.
She kind of tucks back her hair a bit to kind of play up her ears, and she's I might know a Golgari or two that I can speak to.
All right, but remember, confidentiality. Don't tell them too much.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So what are you all doing now?
Lunch? Should we have lunch?
Yeah. I haven't
There's a
eaten
great
all
coffee
day.
shop.
Well, we should probably figure out a place where planning on meeting up.
Well, I was going to suggest we just go now. If this ceremony is going to happen any moment, we don't have much time to see this body.
Oh, she definitely wants to go with you to do that.
All right.
Yeah, there's no argument from Velma to go into the secret conclave and look at things.
It's not that. I mean, it's it's a neighborhood. Like it's a little community. It's not super secretive.
It's like
I don't know what's
drive into
happening,
Beverly
but
Hills.
certainly,
That's fine.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Look, I'm trying
You're
to
not gonna
move.
feel
I'm just
welcome.
trying to ease the plot forward.
Well,
Sorry.
sure. No, you're right. You're right.
Sorry for making your
So-
wheels grease better.
No, that's what I was gonna ask. It's like it's normal for like other guilty
folks
people,
to come to.
Because
Yeah.
we want to convert everyone.
yeah.
Like
Right.
the more the merrier. Like,
Absolutely,
Please
yeah.
join us.
And
well,
it's not uncommon at funeral services like this for friends from outside to be visiting also. So,
Okay.
not uncommon.
Then we leave
We
immediately.
should go. Yeah.
All right.
so she changes. She like goes like, I'll meet you downstairs, or I'll meet you. So she goes and changes out of her like nightclub apparel into like a little bit more of a somber, like respectful, like, and maybe something that's a little bit like Selesnyan, like something that like may have been left behind by somebody, or maybe used for something in the closet. I don't know.
Something a little green on it.
Yeah, and she comes back down, and she also has on, like, she has now put on her cloak, like for traveling.
Anybody else doing any prep before?
Astaroth just goes downstairs and is like,
Sonny, you better not touch my axe.
Don't
Don't
threaten.
touch your-
Don't threaten each other. She goes and finds Tangi and kind of like lets Tangi know that she'll be out for the evening.
Great. Tangi is a elf.
Tangi, I think she's a wood elf.
Wood elf.
She's a wood elf, and Tangi's kind of like, she's a performer at the club, but she is someone who I can rely on to be
Sure.
kind of a regular.
You can trust me.
She has
I'll be
fiery
here.
red hair.
Yeah. I'll be fine. You get back safe though.
Thank you, Tangi.
And you guys exit the generous stray. As you exit, the rain has picked up a little bit. You have not really sheets of rain, but certainly, if you had an umbrella, you would use it here. It's quite dim outside and rainy.
Appropriate for the day.
Appropriate for the day. Yep. So you guys walk, make your way. You guys are walking.
yeah. That's how I generally get around
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
Just
How
curious.
long
I
of a
prefer
walk
to
is it
walk.
from here?
Maybe an hour.
Okay.
I mean, what is the method of travel that we could use that isn't walking? Like, could we call a carriage of some sort?
You could call a carriage. Certainly, there are carriages that can take you up and down the Transguild Promenade. You could go to the Millennial Platform, which is essentially the central airport of the 10th District.
Mm-hmm.
Which not only can you book passage to other districts and other parts of Ravnica, but there are more local flights
Okay.
that would take you to specific locations in the others in the other precincts as well.
Okay. I think I'm gonna put out there. We should probably procure some sort of transportation because time is of the essence, and we also don't want to look like we just wandered into a neighborhood. We were here for a purpose, and this ceremony, funeral, whatever it is, we are here for that. So I will procure a lift. I don't
Yeah.
know. A
Yeah,
rift.
like-
We'll call it a lift.
A rift.
A rift.
Is it called? I don't know what it's called. Ravnica?
These fly to
Uh,
get
Do
there.
they fly?
They do.
Are
Is that a?
we sure we can't just walk?
It'll be fine.
Okay. I never like those things.
Are you afraid of heights?
No, my stomach doesn't like it. All right.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's a bit silly, but there's nothing wrong with it.
It's not silly, okay? Minotaurs were not made to fly, okay? We have hooves.
I've seen minotaurs with wings. I mean,
Well-
they were enchanted wings, but they were wings nonetheless. They looked pretty happy.
Well, enchantments are their own thing, okay?
All right.
Think of it this way: you're just going to be thousands of feet off the ground, where everything looks so small and pointless.
Yes, that is
High in
how
the
I think of
clouds,
things.
Like a bird.
It's upsetting. All right, okay. I'll be fine. Okay, just don't talk to me on the flight.
All right. Here we go then.
That should be easy.
Okay. You guys arrive at the Millennial Platform, very near to the Generous Stray, within the shadow of the Generous Stray. It's a busy place. It's filled with tons of different types of people who travel from the central platform to the various locations within precincts in the 10th, as well as more international travel. You all have by decree of Ravnica, every citizen of Ravnica is given a token in the first of the year that allows you to travel from a location to the Millennial Platform, because it is a central location. Flights are on giant flying contraptions and beasts and airships and zeppelins of various kinds, and you do find the location of where the flight to Precinct 3, which will deliver you to Vitu-Ghazi, is located. It actually will deliver you to the Grand Concourse, adjacent to Vitu-Ghazi, which is a series of sort of crisscrossing bridges of both rope and stone and sort of skyways, a lot like the Ewok village, but like on a massive scale across the southern, just south of Vitu-Ghazi. That will be... So the currency of Ravnica are known as zips and xenos. Zips are equivalent to copper pieces. Xenos are equivalent to gold pieces. It is important to note that silver, typically, in Dungeons & Dragons, you have 10 silvers to a gold. Not the case in Ravnica. It is 4 silver to a gold. There is a xeno. To a xeno, yeah. And then there are also 10 xeno platinum pieces. So that translation is exactly the same. Different guilds mint their own different currency. Some guilds don't and just operate with what there is. And a flight from the Millennial Platform to Precinct 3's drop-off point in the Grand Concourse, I think is half of a gold. I think it would be 2 silver pieces. I would need to find that in my book. Otherwise...
I will probably charge it to the guild.
Same.
Okay. Yep,
probably-
you can certainly do that.
I'll probably charge it for all of them to the guild.
Oh, cool.
This is technically
She would
officially
let you do
unofficial
that. Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not hiding what I'm doing.
Yeah. Is there any sort of like passenger manifest or anything like that, or
No, you can just book passage.
Okay.
So the
You should split it on the app.
yeah, exactly. The trip over to Precinct 3 is on an airship. Just a generic Is-It sort of Zeppelin design.
Okay.
A little dirigible, captained by a goblin with big eyes that are expanded because of the goggles that this goblin is wearing. And they sit at the front portion of the Zeppelin, and everyone sort of piles on. It's you folks and then a couple other folks who make the trip down. Very short trip. I would say less than an hour, probably half an hour, 45 minutes to get into the 3rd district.
I'm gonna say if it was an hour, we might as well have walked it from where we were at. Like, thank God we flew.
Yeah, for all of the it's probably half an hour, I would say. It's, as the dirigible flies.
Yeah. Pretty much the whole time, Astaroth is just like kind of sitting in the corner he's in, and he's just like,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, saints.
Make a Constitution saving throw. For
Okay.
me, if you don't mind.
I've got pretty good constitution.
So that is a 13, but I get +4.
Oh
so
yeah, you're good.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't like it, but
no.
I'll be all right.
You took your Dramamine. You're good.
Ooh. Shouldn't eaten so many dough circles.
Yep. So the dirigible is flying through the clouds and the mist. Yeah.
For some reason in my head, I was thinking like I was thinking like a Dos Equis joke.
Right.
Those circles.
Oh, it's a cop
and then
joke,
Now
yeah.
I get it. As
Right.
Okay.
You might hang them on your horns for later.
I thought you meant like you were drinking beer.
Definitely do that in the morning. Just
Right.
like, yep, give me 5. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah. So you are flying through the mist, and as you fly through the mist, you a very familiar sight to you as this is your home, but you do see just a massive tree as you approach Vitu-Ghazi, well known as the Celestia. I mean, the Celestia Conclave doesn't really believe that power is centrally located, that the whole world has power through it, but Vitu-Ghazi still serves as the focus and the guild hall. It dwarfs everything, almost everything, except for maybe New Prov. There are some buildings that are almost that tall. It's where Celestian worshippers go to celebrate Celestia and attempt to, or successfully commune with Mott Celestia, the life force, the collective consciousness of the Celestians, and Perrin of Celestia. Only 2 Perrins, founders of the guilds, remain alive here on Ravnica, the Rakdos, the demon, and Nvermind of the Izzet Guild. But Mott Celestia is, and always has been, around, but doesn't really manifest in any meaningful way. Below you, you see folks coming to and from, making pilgrimages. You see groups of folks in robes, and there's a bustling of activity as you come to the Great Concourse, which is just south. It's much more of a housing district. As I mentioned before, it's sort of like a lot of tree houses and neighborhoods, raised paths. Some of them are built on stone and sort of operate as aqueducts through the canopy of the, not the canopy because the canopy is a different neighborhood, but through this area of town, made of limestone, Bijan limestone, very fine limestone. That also the surrounding archways of your Vernati could be made from. Would be a stone cunning check later on, but yeah, you see.
We don't have any dwarves in the party.
Right, there you go.
Because I guess are there dwarves on Ravnica?
There are no dwarves.
Yeah,
on
I don't
Ravnica.
think there would be. That wouldn't make any
dwarves
sense.
on Ravnica.
No dwarves, no tieflings.
But Loxodon can get that stone cutting.
Yeah, we specialize in masonry.
They're kind of the dwarves
Oh,
on Ravnica.
cool.
Yeah.
Works.
So as you look down, you can see on some of the concourse weaving through, there are market stalls set up in this area of town. This is very obviously a busy, bustling place with shopkeeps and storefronts and all that kind of stuff. Mostly it's carts that travel to and fro from specifically the Beastlands, getting rid of their wheat and things like that. And you land in a skyport there on the Great Concourse.
Oh, thank the saints. All right. Nope, I'm fine. Everything is okay.
That's quite a sight to see, my friend.
Yeah, it is a heck of a visual.
It's rare to
I
see
was
so
talking
much.
about that, actually.
Oh, that is also a heck of a visual.
Yeah, I step up and I'm like, have you ever seen something so beautiful in all of Ravnica?
I've seen a few things.
Debatable.
So you make your
I
way...
haven't seen this much green, and by that, of course, I mean Astruck again. But still,
you make your way from the Great Concourse. You know how to get from here to your Vernati. You pass through the open gate with the bars styled, sort of the front entrance. You've never seen the gate closed, but it is a front entrance. You see branching filigree leaves design as the front, with the high white walls, and you walk into your familiar settings. It is very quiet in here, usually much more bustling with activity. There is almost no sound. You can't. It's a little disconcerting. There are the plum trees and the various trellises and vines to your left in the back. It's sort of a round. You know what? Let's build something.
Okay.
Let me show you what you guys are working with here.
Pull out a bunch of Legos.
Let's cut to the spaceship. Cut to a little bit of a map here. So the center of a Vernati is a large tree. This tree is maybe 20, 30 feet in diameter, all around in circumference, in diameter. And all around that, as I'm building here, as you can see, are the marble or limestone structures. Or
it's a henge.
It's a bit of a henge. It's sort of a very wide neighborhood here. And it comes all the way around to the front, and you guys are probably walking in from back there. In this back corner, you can see through, there's sort of arches like this. And this is a garden where all of the soil and the local vegetable garden is located. You also there's also some other bits of this. Give me just a second. As I try to build you out the map here. The meeting garden right here in the front is sort of a circular space where there is a fountain being curled around by a root from the Vernati Center tree. Some members of the Vernati do have rooms on this portion over here. Some of the ground floor members, particularly the folks who operate the garden over here. And there is, as you approach, a spiral up that goes starts in a counterclockwise direction. So it sort of spirals up like this. And that leads to the higher floors.
And where would they normally be keeping, like, where do we normally keep people before, like, when they die?
When they die?
Yeah.
So the temple is at the very top. As this spirals up, the temple is at the peak of the apex of the tree.
Okay. Well, as we're walking around, I kind of, like, show them things and point them around, like, and this is our garden where we've grown everything. They've taught me how to do the different fertilizers, and we grow... What's a good fruit in Ravnica? Do they have, like, mangoes?
Probably not in the 10th. There certainly is all manner of weather all over the plains. You need someplace to grow the coffee, right? But in this area it's much more temperate. I would say, I mean, it's possible you have like apple trees, plum trees, maybe orange. I mean, it's not too different from Southern California. So maybe you might have something citrus like that.
Okay. So I'll be showing them around, and then we'll approach. Is there anyone out right now? Like, is there?
There are some gardeners who are sort of tilling back here, tending to the grounds. They sort of have the they aren't as friendly. They're clearly they know what has happened.
Yeah.
And they nod respectfully to you all. You do see, actually everybody make a perception check.
Nope, mine's a critical failure. That is a natural 1, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I actually go blind as I walk through this garden.
You walk into a branch,
Yeah.
just like...
I got a 7.
Anybody else?
6.
I got a dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Yeah.
Most everybody else is sort of distracted. But you do notice that there are some cavaliers, centaurs, who are appear to be encircling, sort of on a patrol around the Vernati. Just keeping an eye on things, trotting around the grounds.
I like how regular cavaliers would ride horses, and centaurs are like, nope, we got it.
We got them both. Paddle your own canoe, be your own mount. Yeah, exactly right. And that's what you see. You do hear further up the tree. You do hear the din of people and activity.
Is that one band of centaurs? Like 3 in a like how many?
Yeah,
are going?
2. I would say
Just 2?
Two
Okay.
centaurs.
So that seems like about normal security, like nothing crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
you would know that that's not a thing that typically happens. Is that typically they sort of weave in and out of the various Vernatis. Having one patrol specifically for this is out of the norm.
And I notice them?
If it's pointed out to you.
Okay.
Oh, how about that?
Right.
Is there anyone playing is there anyone like playing music, like anyone like even like in a somber
Sure.
way, or like okay?
Yeah.
I might, to try to like blend in with my surroundings, I might like kind of like listen to their song and then kind of like join in, like like playing like my viola, like just like not necessarily maybe like a lute I might have, yeah,
Sure.
whatever makes the most sense for what the song is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do a performance. Or
Great.
Okay. That's an 8.
Okay. It joins in. I mean, this is something that you do.
Mhm.
It does not seem to be having a particular effect.
Yeah.
On anyone around.
Yeah, I'm just trying to blend in.
Sure. And you do. and you can make your way up
Yeah.
the spiral, this is your home, so you obviously know at various points there are other houses and rooms for people to live in, and as you get to the top floor, there is a temple. It is a sort of a 40-foot circle at the apex of the tree. We can sort of build the temple, I guess, and show you what that looks like. I'm going to leave the exterior walls. So it would sort of be a circle about yay big with many columns, sort of encircling inside, just inside the walls of the temple, which is open to the sky, open to the canopy of the tree, but it does peek through. And the pillars surround the church sort of area. It is a very somber feeling. In the middle there is a table upon which so the room would be extend out from the pillars just a little bit, but there is in state, not in a box, is Mookie sitting on a table. Various mourners are milling about, standing there. Tolis is there, and sees you approach and says, I'm so glad that you're here. We are going to be laying Mookie to rest. Another Voda has been dispatched from Vitu-Ghazi. They are on the far side of the room. And you see another dryad.
Okay.
Talking with folks. We will be having a very short ceremony. And then, as tradition indicates, when a Voda passes, they will be laid to rest beneath their Vernati. Here.
Okay.
Now, you don't know exactly what that means?
Yeah.
That you've never heard of that, but sure.
Can I ask what that entails? Like, what do you mean beneath the Vernati? Are we burying him?
Yes, there is a root cellar in the most literal sense beneath the tree, where those Voda and other important members of the guild can be laid to rest.
Okay. How does he seem? Like I'm pretty good at like picking up on like people's feelings and how they're very empathetic. Like, does he seem out of
Sure.
normal?
Make a insight check.
Can I do that too?
Yes.
I'm going to as well.
Everybody,
Nice.
sure.
Inside checks all around.
Sure, why not?
That is going to be a dirty 20.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, natural 20.
Oh boy.
I got an
19.
18.
Yikes.
We are an
Well,
insightful bunch.
Yeah, we're just all
Yeah.
like,
it's been a tough day for Tolis.
We all
Tolis is
know
less
you're
guarded now.
lying, sir.
My investigation is +0, but I'm pretty insightful.
Mm.
Like I pick up on things.
Sure. So,
Street smart.
in this conversation that you all are overhearing, you can tell that Tolis, while making eye contact, you is sort of scanning the outsiders and making sure of keeping sort of just track of the new folks that have shown up that he doesn't know. Who had the natural 20? And who had the dirty 20? So, and those were the 20s.
I have 25. I don't know if it matters.
Yeah.
It's,
Well then.
well, that's just a number.
Seems like it matters to you.
Right.
I was gonna
Here's
say.
that gets the law and order gong gong.
Yes, exactly.
You can tell that you can definitely tell that Tolis is under a good amount of stress. His arms are crossed. He's very obviously in a defensive style of position, and sort of glistening I would say, with dew or sweat or mist. And he does look a bit haggard at this point. He is sort of a little bit shifty in his eyes, casting about, looking at you all.
Do you have any additional information as to what might have happened?
At this time, we don't exactly know what has happened here. Vitu Ghazi will be handling the furtherance of the investigation.
Is that normal?
Not really. Whenever there's a crime committed, it's not the Celestians who typically handle the crime.
Yeah.
It's an Azorius or a Boros job typically. Although, you know, once there's an investigation to be had. So it doesn't sound particularly usual, particularly for someone of Mookie's stature.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be laying Mookie to rest beneath the tree. We will be making sure that until the investigation is concluded, someone has cast spells to maintain the remains, which you would understand to mean gentle repose.
Right.
To make sure that it is not claimed until we are ready. Your insight, though, tells you that he's not telling you everything. He's still very guarded. He is still well aware that you guys are there. So, if you'd like to say a few words, we can commence with the ceremony. I know this is a very tough time.
If you don't mind, could I have some time alone with him?
Make a persuasion.
Persuasion. When I'm proficient, 17.
I understand. And he will gather his collection of folks and make their way towards the... did you want him to leave the room entirely? Or just go to the edges? Or...
I mean, I just wanted, probably have him leave the room for now, just so I can go up, say goodbye, and...
So he will abide by that and clear the room for just a moment.
Velma kind of like seems to walk with them out the room, like she's going with, like, not to draw suspicion to her staying in the room, but then like kind of like peels off at the end, kind of like comes back around and like.
Okay, so you're following that group.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, make a. Actually, if you're just there, you'd probably just hear this. Tolis, as he leaves, mentions to one of his one of the votaries, one of the temple guards, there is no door to the temple, and so he mentions to the votary, just keep an eye on them, just make sure that nothing hinky goes on here, and then you see that.
Okay.
All right, well, here he is. We'll walk up to his body.
Mm-hmm.
I use message to convey that information to you.
Okay.
I just go, you are being watched.
And where are they standing, probably?
To the entrance of the temple, probably just here, and then it obviously counterclockwise spirals down, so
okay.
They're probably just outside on a landing right here.
Okay. I'll kind of stand, like, in front of his body, but, like, if you're looking in, you basically see a giant elephant looking over him. And then I'll say, here he is. He, 10,000 years old and burnt to a crisp.
Wait, did you say 10,000 years old?
Yes.
So he was alive when the murders happened to begin with.
Probably, yes.
He looks good for his age. I mean, except for the burnt part.
Right. Yeah.
Is his, like, how does he look right now? Like, how is he presented?
He's presented in the way that you kind of found him, with his arms sort of arms at his side. He does have a staff made of vines that is part of his hand. Sort of. I mean, it's sort of tough to tell where the hand ends and the staff of vines begins, but that is sort of at his side, and it looks like he's holding it. You know that could be sort of apparated, like become vines from his hands. And he used it as a walking stick. His eyes are closed, and he has a grin on his face.
I'm going to take out my pocket watch.
Yep.
And cast light on it. And start inspecting the body.
Great. Make a investigation check.
Okey-dokey. I hope this is good, or else my job is kind of stupid.
Who's the person that's watching
It's
them?
all right.
One of the votaries.
Okay.
So a temple guard.
I'm gonna walk up to him and attempt to distract him while that's happening.
Great.
To like not draw attention to the fact. So I'm gonna go up to him and I'm just gonna I'm playing my like I guess like a violin kind of. I don't know. It's not like a thing, but that's how I always imagine my bard's playing as a violin.
Right.
So she's like and she's playing it like very like she's been hired as a musician to come in and play. It's like was there any songs that the Voda, was that what you called it, Voda?
Voda.
Was there any songs that he really liked? Because I could play like a really good song. So that's what she's doing to the guard.
Great.
While you're,
He's a big fan of
So I can
Yeah, make a roll a distraction.
Hey,
or
now,
performance maybe.
Performance
you're an
sounds good.
all-star.
Oh, I hate Smash.
Ah, that's going to be 12.
Okay. This could potentially also be deception if you have.
Yes, I will do. That's going to be that's going to be a 13.
Okay.
So actually 14. Sorry.
The votary makes pleasant conversation with you of like, well, there was a very nice wood elf tune, I believe that he was, and would like sort of talk.
It could.
And I go,
there
I
was
know
a-
elf tunes. I start playing the tune.
There was a Reddit comment that has literally been in my head since I read it, which someone said, "I tapped the planes down in Ravnica."
Oh my god!
I've been singing "We
Yeah,
Built This
tap
City" on
planes
Spells
down-
and Rolls.
Oh, spells and rolls. I like that.
Also, while I'm playing the song, I am ritually casting Comprehend Languages, which is it takes me about a minute to cast. So as I'm playing the song, I'm doing that, and that will last for an hour. So that if anyone's speaking a language that I don't understand during this service, I'll be able to understand them.
Great.
So just so you know.
Okay.
I tapped the planes
And so you have light.
Yeah. I only got an 8 on my investigation though. Unless there's any other bonuses that my light gives me.
Is there?
So what are you doing exactly?
I'm basically just trying to look for anything that looks like a stab wound or any sort of chemical mark.
Sure. So you investigate the body from neck to toe.
Yes.
Does not appear to be any obvious sign of a murder or any crime of any kind here.
Do they have anything in their pockets? Are they wearing clothes?
No. Completely made of plant and wood.
Okay. And then I guess I'll inspect the head to just open the eye. And
As
see
a
what I can
bonus
see.
action while I'm playing music, I'm going to give you Bardic Inspiration.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I hear that
Bless
music and it
the
sounds
rain.
wonderful.
Can I also try to give him guidance? While
Sure.
he's doing that.
So suddenly your
Nice.
eyes hyperfocus, and you have a much stronger sense of what you're looking at, and you look into Mookie's face and the eyes, and so you open the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Distracted, so I'll give him disadvantage.
I'm blocking
Hidden behind
out.
the thing, so I'm
Yeah.
going to give him another penalty, probably like -5 because it's total cover. Rolled an 18 and a 19 though.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Oh, no.
That's nice for you.
It happens.
Probably is starting to come back into the room at that point and sort of, well, maybe not enter the room so much as signal to Tolis what is perhaps transpiring. In Elvish, we'll call over to Tolis and say, hey, I think how long are we giving them in there? And you hear that, obviously. So you cast light and you open the eye to look into the skull. At this point, make an Arcana check.
Okay.
I speak Elvish anyway.
As a half elf.
Yeah,
sure.
He might not know that in half.
One ability
I mean,
check
he probably can't
of
tell.
its choice.
You probably
Do
think
it
so.
to this one.
Yay.
I can do it. I can do it after.
Once before the spell ends, yeah.
I can do it before or after. And your bardic inspiration is before or after the roll?
You can do it after, but before he says if it's success
Gotcha.
or not.
Right.
Can I do bardic inspiration and guidance simultaneously?
Sure.
Okay.
You got this.
Well, I got a 10 so far, plus 2. I'll do guidance, which is 2 more, so that is 14. And I'll do bardic, and so I'll do it all.
Okay.
I'll do it all, baby. And that's a d4?
At this level, yeah, I believe so.
So that's 4 more, so that's 18 total.
Okay. So it was a roll of 10 on the d20.
Yes.
Double check.
Then plus 2 for your skill.
Yes.
Then you rolled a d4 for
Guidance.
For guidance.
Yes,
and
got
you
it
rolled
too.
another d4 for bardic inspiration.
Yes.
Great. And that gave you an 18.
An 18 total.
And this is Arcana.
Nice.
Arcana.
Yes, this is Arcana.
This, as you open the eye, you can immediately pick up that it is fire and ember. You sense from being right in there, casting light, looking in, it is clean on the inside. It has been, there's no evidence of burn on the outside of Mookie's head. It is a localized spot. And it seems extremely precise. It would be very difficult for physical fire to be contained in this way, and therefore it feels magical to you. It also is exactly the MO of the Nvermind killer.
There's no like entry wound on the back of the head or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
With your roll, with your earlier perception, your earlier perception was like an 8, right?
My investigation.
Your
Yeah.
investigation was like an 8. Yeah, the Arcana check wouldn't be able to tell you that,
Okay.
and the investigation, I would say, there is no other entry point other than the eyes.
Okay.
Just a quick rules goof. It should have been a D6, I apologize. So for future reference, my bardic inspiration is D6 until I level up to a higher level.
Gotcha.
But for the audience who are the non-magic, the non-D&D
Non-D&D
people,
players, yeah.
bardic inspiration is a power that bards have, which is a bonus action that I get right now. I get 3 per day or 3 before a long rest. And as I'm casting as a bonus action, I can give anybody else, but not myself, the ability to add an extra dice to one of their rolls for the next 10 minutes.
Great.
I'm going to look back towards the open door and see if anybody's coming at this point.
I would say by this point, folks have started to shuffle back in.
I'm going to look towards Aster Rock and say, like, can you give us a little more time?
Sure. Astarock will just, he's not entirely sure what to do without, like, attacking people.
You picked the wrong person to distract
And that's
people.
Put your axe down.
All right. Astarock's just gonna walk over and be like, it's a nice place you have here. Yeah, you like living in trees?
Oh, okay.
Huh?
I gotta move real quick now.
Yeah, sure. Make a deception roll for me.
Okay.
See how? It's under your.
There you go. Sneaky,
What the?
sneaky
I'm gonna
dinky.
try to
guy.
assist him
Sure.
by like.
And you're right there by the door, so yeah.
I'm gonna cast dancing lights and do like a very like beautiful display of light, like as a tribute while I'm singing this song that the guy asked me to sing
Yeah.
for them. So like I'm like trying to
Sort of
steal
accompany-
focus.
I'm gonna cast
So-
distraction.
So you can assist. So
Yeah.
roll again.
Okay, great. Well, that's worse. So I got a 9.
So super glad I helped you.
He sort of says, "Yeah, trees are kind of our." Excuse me.
And I want to try to get a sample in that time. That's what I'm trying to do. Is
Get a sample.
of like any of like the ash that's inside.
Great. Yeah.
So
Do I see him like poking into his eye? Okay, sorry.
because
Probably.
I'll probably look at you and say, "Is this okay?"
Like, just do it.
because I know I'm not actually good at like distracting them with the questions and stuff. Can I just like physically get in their way as I'm asking
That's
these
kind of what I
questions?
pictured, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's make that an athletics.
I've got more questions about Celeste. Mon Celeste.
Yeah. So this will be an opposed
Athletics.
athletics.
All right. Well,
That's a little better.
I got a dirty 20 because that's my best skill easily.
Yeah. Yeah. You certainly. Let me see what my. Yeah, you get in their way. You sure are in their way.
Hooray!
So you probably have another 10 seconds, 15 seconds as it's like, oh, excuse me, oh, sorry,
silly me, I'm a Minotaur,
Basically, what I'm going to do is just take my pocket watch and just scoop a little bit of the eye and then close it and then put it away.
Okay. You have done so.
Okay.
That was a nice watch.
At which point, everyone will re-enter the room.
Okay, you can go by now.
Yeah. I continue playing my song and my lights because I'm trying to keep it like I wasn't doing it to distract. I was just doing it to be tasteful. I thought it was a beautiful tribute to this wonderful dryad.
We loved him so much.
Tolis will
we miss him.
Tolis will say some words. What a great leader of our community. What a tragic day and a sad passing. And he will allow the new Voda to speak. The new Voda introduces themselves. Has a druidic sounding name. Let me.
I was say, what's his name?
It's Octavian. Turns out
oh my
it's
god.
Slyn, the Voda.
Slyn Voda, very nice.
Yeah. Yes. That's a magic card, in case you don't know that.
Does it start with a la?
Lazar.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Lazar.
I'm a fan,
Yeah, like
right?
What's up?
Nothing suspicious about me.
No.
I will have to come up with a name for that NPC.
It's
later,
me,
'cause
Nickel Balls. How's it going?
I don't have it in front of me right now, but the new Voda has a name, and they introduce themselves and sort of, this is going to be a difficult time for our community, but we will make it through this. The Celestia Conclave is resilient, and we've been through hard times before, and this will be another. We will heal. We will heal. You are invited to say something, if you would like.
Okay. I'll step up kind of beside his head and does he have hair? Is it like branches or leaves?
Yeah, like twigs.
Okay. Well, then it might be weird. I kind of just pet them, So, and I sit there and I say, Mookie was more than a Voda to me. He was a mentor, a father, a best friend. In times when I didn't know what to do, he'd be there for me to guide me, to tell me and show me the way of the world and the elements around us. And I'm sad to see this happen, and I'm in more pain than I could ever imagine, but I do know every day he would ask me, what did I learn today? And I think, if anything, today of most days, I would say, I learned that friends can come in all shapes and sizes and places. And I smile at all of them.
Very nice. At the end of your statement, a dryad, sorry, not a dryad, a druid of the Vernati will raise her hands, and from the walls, essentially from the canopy, a small army of saprolings, which are, for those of you that play Magic, if you want to look what Ravnica saprolings look like, go look up the card Doubling Season.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots of saprolings in that art. Little fungal droids, sort of. They look like
I get the idea of it.
Yeah, little
like tree compies.
Yeah,
Okay.
little Pomeranians come in
Okay.
and
Yeah, my dog is here.
sort
I
of
get the idea of it.
climb down the walls, and in a very non-threatening way, they sort of just weave in and out.
We're under attack.
Right, exactly. Climb
Fire!
Kill them with fire!
Crush!
Climb up to the table, and like an army of ants, lift the body
Ooh.
up and begin taking it down the arch, or down the path, down to the bottom,
Ooh.
where you are back at the bottom. Do you follow?
Oh yeah.
Believe
Oh
so, yes.
yes, absolutely.
So we'll mark that. Actually, it was this one, wasn't it? Back at the bottom. On the back side, there is a. They take the body to the back side. How closely are you all following?
I'd be pretty close, I feel like.
Yeah,
Okay.
as close as possible.
As close as we can be without being suspicious.
Yeah.
This
Would
point.
probably. I mean, this would probably be a perception check for whoever's up close, like
I'd be on
within
it.
10 feet.
Yeah.
If you're about 20 feet behind, I could say you could do it at disadvantage.
Okay, I'll do it.
15. Oh wait, no, you said perception, right?
Perception.
Yeah, I think I'm a little further
15.
behind
Okay.
too. So
Ooh, I got an 18 plus something.
yeah, I
You did
get
that at
Yeah.
disadvantage?
an 8.
No, I was gonna be closer.
Me too.
You're closer.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
How did that?
What did you
Is that a
do?
20 and a 1?
A 20 and a 1
Yeah,
at
that's
disadvantage,
amazing.
so I take the
Disadvantage.
1.
Oh,
But
no.
that's
Aw.
ridiculous. I got a 20 and a 1.
That's
Like,
awesome.
just ran the gamut.
Beautiful.
So anyone who got a 15 or higher will notice.
happened?
Will notice that there is a very you know that there's a shrub essentially, and the shrub sort of hides a root. The great tree towers above you like a bark-covered cliff. You hear rustling coming from the shrub as it sort of parts. There's a recess between the folds of the trunk, and there's a small hole, not a super small hole. You could fit. It would be a tight squeeze, tighter squeeze than Lucian's office, but it's designed just for saplings. You just never. I mean, it's never really come up to follow the saplings before.
I am going to cast Unseen Servant, and I'm going to send it into the sapling's hole.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's unseen.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's entirely invisible?
Yeah.
Great.
It's
So-
basically like a little. I'm just setting it to observe what's happening and report back to me.
Okay.
So and I can control that mentally, so I don't have to say like, "Hey, little guy." I just cast it, and I'm just going to mark a
As
spell
you peer
slot.
in, you feel a draft on your face. Yeah, mark off your spell slots.
Yes.
The niche leads underground. You see a little bit of glimmer in the hole. The unseen servant obviously has a much better view. It's sort of a blue twinkle. The sapperlings cluster as they descend into this root cellar, maybe 30 feet down. There's a crystal, a life crystal, in the base of the tree. Passage is meant for sapperlings. It's very small, mostly dirt and root. And they carry the body of Mookie down into the root cellar. And that's what you see.
And we aren't able to like follow down in there, right?
You could, but it would
You
be
probably
weird.
couldn't.
It's large enough. You
me
could
back!
squeeze in if you wanted to go down there.
I think we've done what we needed to
Yeah, I
do.
think we can always come back if necessary, and we don't want to. This
Red
is their
flag,
way.
yes.
I don't want to.
We've got other leads to follow up on.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any like? Do I feel like there's anything I'm learning from the servant, or kind of just like I don't like.
So the servant can see.
Yeah, I think I don't think it do much. It's kind of mindless, so I can't be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, boss!" I can't be like
No,
that.
there's not a ton.
Okay. So I dispel it.
But is there a light down there?
The life crystal gives off a faint blue light.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So yeah, I just dispel it. Otherwise, I can't do much with it right now, so I just go ahead and dispel it.
You can so you can use like see through it.
I don't think
or-
I can. I don't think it's like a familiar. I think it's kind of like you give it a simple task and it does
Right.
it.
It's
it
a butler.
went, so
Yeah.
it spent some time underground, but not a long time. Not long enough for it to be undercity or anything like that.
Tell him to come back up and write a book until he disappears
Right.
about what he saw.
Yeah, I realize after I cast it, there's not like much like I can't like do much with it, so I kind of wasted that spell slot. That's all right.
Oh, make another smell check, perception.
And do I get advantage on this?
Yes, because you have the trunk.
It's an 18. And that's a 6, so I think we'll take 18.
Great. That's what it looks like, but it also smells sickly sweet of rot and decay. Something is decaying down there.
That's not good.
Is this where you keep all of your corpses, or
Only the important ones, from what I understand.
how many important corpses are down there?
Would I know that?
You wouldn't.
Does it smell like something freshly rotting or something that's been rotting for a long time?
A little fresher.
Fresher.
A little bit fresher.
No,
Maybe a week, maybe 2.
okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
You don't think your Boros friend is down there, do you?
I don't know. But my instincts say that there's something bigger being covered up here.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Tolis will approach you, paying very close attention to the entry point down beneath the tree, and will place a hand on your shoulder. Say, "Are you all right?"
I'm as alright as I can be.
I need you to let this play out, Tuturu. We need to do our investigation.
Absolutely. And I trust that you will let me know what you find.
Of course. Insight check.
Yeah, I'm like eyeing him up and down right now. You said insight?
Insight.
Plus 3, 15.
He is trying to strong-arm you here. He's trying to make sure that you're not telling these strangers that you brought in anything untoward.
And he's an elf?
He's an elf.
So I take his hand, pick it up, place it in mine, and give it a nice Luxodon gentle calming squeeze. Say, thank you for your concern.
My bonds!
I will be okay.
Do you want to make an intimidation check?
Yes!
Or not?
I mean, it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Maybe I'm just trying to be persuasive.
I feel like it's sort of against your character, but at the same time, it's such a cool moment.
Yeah.
Because this person meant so much to you.
Exactly.
You know? So, yeah, this makes sense.
This is more like, just get off my case. And that is a natural 20.
Boom!
Yeah! So you crush his hand.
Yeah, I just break it.
Elephant never forgives.
Big elephantine mitts, giant wrinkled gray hand, lifts the small, lithe, thin elf hand, and in a large clasping handshake, eye contact with Tolis, it seems like a message has been passed.
Good.
Tolis will sort of back away from you, and not distracted by the interaction that he just had, will sort of turn away. Sapperlings are emptying out.
Does this thing feel like it like opens and closes naturally? Like only someone can open and close this, or like is this something we could come visit later when there's less people?
Earlier, you had a pretty good perception check, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like you could come do that later.
I have a question.
Now that you know where it is.
Would sapperlings be something we see around Ravnica outside of Selesnya?
They are not common, or just in general. You might go into various natural remedy stores.
Sure, so we
potion
probably
shops.
know what they are.
You know what they are, yeah.
We're not like, man, these dogs are creepy.
Yeah. what a weird
Sleepy
moss-covered
dogs.
cat. Yeah, no, you would you'd recognize that. And you sort of stand there, the four of you, at the base of this massive tree. Some amount of evidence safely hidden in a pocket, theoretically undetected.
Theoretically.
With some historical knowledge some more recent knowledge and an impetus to solve what appears to be a growing mystery. And that's where we're going to end the episode today, everyone. We'll pick up there next week. And hopefully you are intrigued by what has been happening here.
I certainly am.
Good. Well, thank you, everyone. You successfully avoided all of my combats. Well done.
Alright.
So far, we'll see.
Alright.
I presented you with plenty of opportunity, but yeah, we'll pick up right at the base of the tree next week. Unless you guys know kind of the general idea of what the next step
We'll
is.
probably regroup somewhere, and then I
Okay.
would imagine the next lead we chase is at the Sun Home.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
where the Boros are?
Okay.
Let's find out what the angels have in their closets, right?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. So,
I already told you. Oh.
So imagine we'd probably return to Velma's the Generous Stray. Maybe it's the place we'd meet up again, if you're okay with
Oh,
it.
she would not want you to keep meeting at her place.
Okay.
Like, that was that she like I don't know if you caught that she was very much like I don't want you in my lobby. Like she
Okay.
very much so
Then
you had to find somewhere else to meet
I'd
up.
recommend my home or something at that
So
point.
you guys get together without me. Don't tell me. Actually, do tell me if you. Well,
I feel like-
I generally,
I feel like we
generally
should-
have an idea that you guys are headed towards the Boros
Try and figure out
side
what.
of things to
Yeah.
try to figure out some more, but you've got some evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got some eyewitness testimony, and you've got some leads to follow up on.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, so much. Do we know who won the raffle?
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
Okay, not yet.
Soon.
I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. Once again, I want to thank Saving Throw Show and benevolent overlord Dom Zook, producer. Just a huge thank you to everything that the Saving Throw Show network does. And be sure to tune in to twitch.tv/Saving Throw Show right after this for Talk Pact, where we're going to be answering viewer questions about lore, about D&D rules, and we'll be chatting about what happened during the events of the episode, some of us at the very least. And that's the official after show here of the Broken Pact. Thank you guys so much for playing. I had a ton of fun.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been a nervous wreck for weeks.
It's finally
And-
happening.
And it's finally here. And I just, waiting is the hardest part.
It's that
So-
Ron Paul. It's happening.
Yeah.
Jeff.
So I want to thank A.E. Marling and Emmett Fury again for helping me craft this story. So we're coming up on the end of the show. Where can everyone find you, everybody?
You can follow me on Twitter at Jordan Pidgen. Also tune in on twitch.tv/Saving Throw Show for the other show I'm part of on Friday nights, which is Wildcards. It's our Weird West Savage World show.
Oh man, last night was spectacular.
That was a fun episode.
One of the best ones we've done this season.
Jordan,
Yeah.
Very good.
JCC is he a showman.
Yeah.
He's very good.
I am on Twitter at Riley J. Silverman, and actually for this season of Doctor Who, I am writing reviews of every episode as they come out. Those are on Nerdist, and I will actually be, this coming Monday, I will actually be on Nerdist at noon Pacific time, doing Nerdist News Talks Back, and I'll actually talk with Kyle Anderson and some other people about this week's episode, which will air tomorrow, so check that out. So Monday, if you're watching this currently, this coming Monday, the 15th, I will be on that.
That was the last one you were on with that was another Nerdist News Talk.
Yeah, that's available on YouTube
spectacular,
as well.
just great stuff. I love the passion you have for all that. And you were recently on
Game the Game.
the Game,
Mhm.
yeah, playing some board games with
Playing
some other
Western Legends.
yeah, playing some other notable RPG celebrities and folks from around the area.
My name is Gaurav, and you can catch me on all the socials at DoubleGXG. That's the word double, then GXG. And like Jordan said, I'm also on Wildcards on Friday nights at 8 p.m. on Saving Throw Show.
I'm Ashlen Rose, and you can find me on Twitter at Ashlen Rose or on twitch.tv/Ashlen_Rose. Can I talk about the fundraiser?
Sure.
real quick?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So really quick, for those of you who are in the Magic the Gathering world right now, there's a fundraiser going on with Card Kingdom called Chalice Gathering and Giving, and we are raising funds, I think, for about another week. And all of the funds we raise go to Big Brother and Big Sister of Puget Sound. And I think we'll have a link below in the chat. Right? Maybe, possibly.
Yes, it's great.
Where you can submit your contribution if you want, or just share out. All of the funds for this basically help move kids who are currently on the wait list off that wait list and gets them set up with a mentor. So it's a really, really great fundraiser, and we'd appreciate anything. So thank you.
Absolutely. And I am the internet's Reuben Bresler. You can follow me at MOXREUBY on all of the social media platforms that I'm a part of. I am one of the co-hosts of the Magic Mics podcast, MICS, where we discuss the news in Magic the Gathering live on Wednesday nights. And you can catch up on old top 10s and the news of the week in Magic the Gathering through posts on CoolStuffInc.com, where we post our videos as well. Or you can join us live Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern for that live program. And with that, be sure to follow the hashtag #TheBrokenPactRPG. And follow at Saving Throw Show. Stick around for Talk Pact. But for this, the premiere episode of Ravnica, The Broken Pact. Thank you, Ashlen, Gaurav, Jordan, and Riley. And thank you, the audience, for joining us here on this trip in Ravnica. I've been your Guildmaster, Reuben Bresler, and we'll see you next time on The Broken Pact.